you're trending. You're hoping it's not the case. We'll hear from us, and we'll see how it plays out tomorrow at 5 o'clock on ESPN, and we'll see what it looks like on College Game Day starting at 10 a.m., Tommy.
Yeah, going to be the highlight of college basketball in some ways tomorrow. The McClarty Daniel Hotline open on a Fast Break Friday. You can join our conversation via text or via phone call, 877-377-6963. 6 locations in Springdale and Bentonville. Hey, a good deal is never too far away. You can find them online at McClartyDaniel.com. What kind of crowd do you think shows up for College Game Day? I would imagine the students will be there and will represent the university pretty well as far as numbers. I would suppose. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I would think there'd be a good enough crowd to keep you from looking poor on TV despite the record of the team right now.
Yeah, weather tomorrow, it's a high of 44 and a low of 37. It's raining, so that might deter some people who are thinking about going.
Or may drive you inside because you can't do anything else outside.
And that could be true as well. I mean, it's not going to be as great as it would have been if they came the last 3 years, but you are happy that they are here. Jay Williams was pushing it for it to come. It just comes at a crummy time, as I heard Derek and Zach talking about and Phil talking about earlier this week, and I've said the same thing. You wish it wasn't this case, but you'll take it regardless. I mean, it's just a car wash for your basketball program, right? And while Arkansas basketball is not where it needs to be and not where it's been, this is an opportunity to maybe enhance some recruits, to maybe take a visit. Again, put your program in good spotlight as long as you don't get blown out on Saturday night. I mean, this is a chance that I think Eric Musselman, now, I don't know about the game itself, but I know from a presentation and marketing and recruiting standpoint, this basketball program is going to take full advantage of this opportunity.
Sure hope so. And, doesn't seem likely you could pull the upset, particularly considering what happened to Kentucky earlier this week. They get the one-day advantage on rest. Arkansas not only got one less day, but played the late game on Wednesday, so before getting back, really late Wednesday night. So short turnaround. It seems like, all the odds are stacked against you in many ways for this game, but maybe some Bud Walton magic will happen. I mean, at this point, you're kind of clutching at straws, hoping to put it all together.
Yep, and again, if you've got some thoughts or opinions this morning about the Arkansas basketball team conference championship weekend, this Keyshawn Boutte story that's coming out of Baton Rouge and Foxborough. He's a Patriots wide receiver, his former LSU wide receiver. He's apparently caught gambling nearly 9,000 times in his point during Baton Rouge. I mean, it's just wild. There's other things going on as well. I want to talk about who I think the face of college football is right now, with Nick Saban retiring and Jen Harbaugh going to the NFL. We're going to hear from Dave Van Horn coming up. He had his first press conference in a while talking about scrimmages this weekend. I think Phil's plan is to do halftime from Baum-Walker Stadium today, assuming they still have the scrimmage later on, which is set to be today, Sunday, and Monday, because there's going to be some bad weather, like I said, on Saturday as well.
Well, and baseball, obviously baseball just around the corner. A lot of people, I think, facetiously asking the question, hey, when's baseball start? But, hey, it's sooner rather than later with, I think it's James Madison's the first opponent coming up on February 16th.
Yeah. Arkansas and Kentucky, again, the game that everyone will be watching this weekend. There's no other top 25 matchup in the Southeastern Conference. That does not mean some teams can't get upset. Auburn's already lost once this week on the road. They really don't want to drop two as they go to Starkville and take on Mississippi State. Bama gets another home game against LSU. Ole Miss traveling to Texas A&M trying to build on the win they had against the Razorbacks. So some important SEC games this week as we continue on this stretch of conference play, as we're a third of the way in to this point.
You've mentioned bad weather a couple times on Saturday. Just to clarify, there's 0.4 of an inch of rain in the forecast, and it's all before noon. So I don't think that'll affect the basketball game a lot. Baseball, if anything happening there, you can move around. But all the rain's supposed to be between midnight and about 11 a.m., and it's supposed to be ending by 12, 1 o'clock, something like that, according to the weather app I'm looking at, and less than a half inch of rain. And like I said, a high tomorrow in Fayetteville of 44. But I don't think the weather's going to affect people coming to the game too much. Now, people could get up and make a decision, but make an informed decision. It looks like all the weather and all the rain, as far as rain, I mean, it's just rain. It's not anything more than rain. So rain shouldn't stop you from getting out to the game.
Still don't know the status of Trevin Brazile or Tremont Mark just yet. I would expect Trevin Brazile to play, and I would also expect Mark to play, but been wrong before in this case. We did see Arkansas win without Mark earlier this season. They did not do that on Wednesday night. Again, this is a marquee opponent, a rivalry game that all Arkansas fans and players get jacked up for. Really, any team gets jacked up for in the SEC when Kentucky comes to town. They're, again, going to be angry, white-hot after their blowout loss to South Carolina, who Cal, I was listening to this morning, gave a lot of compliments to Lamont Paris and what they've done. But you're not exactly getting Kentucky at the best time, not just from your vantage point as a team where you're at, but where they're at coming off that loss.
Yeah, and, Kentucky, I'm like you. I won't even attempt to pronounce the name of that the new player they've added, the big guy. Big Z, is what everybody just kind of shortens it up to. But I think there's some growing pains inserting him and acclimating him to the lineup. Now, do they have all that smoothed out by Saturday? I don't know. Does Arkansas have a greater challenge by having a player on the front line that, Arkansas doesn't have a physical matchup for? Absolutely. So, I'll be interested to see how they infiltrate him into their rotation, how many minutes he gets. This may be a game, if they have it well in hand, he may play more minutes than you think just because the opportunity may be there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm curious to see what kind of impact as a 7'1" guy he can have with Arkansas's small front line. It's not just him. You got to deal with some other front court players for Kentucky as well. I want to hear also, again, from Eric Musselman. We got a few sound bites we're going to play talking about not just Kentucky, but his own basketball team. Because, again, the season's not completely over. I know it feels like it to this point. I want to remind everyone you were 1-5 this past season in conference play as well. But, again, you had some marquee non-conference wins that you don't necessarily have on your resume to this point. And as we keep saying, this team feels different. It doesn't feel, as the buzzword has consistently been said, connected. Maybe that'll change tomorrow starting at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, maybe so. Hey, check out the Bet Saracen app for the weekend. There is a lot going on this weekend around the world of sports, not only college basketball, but and they'll have all the Arkansas game lines, over-unders, player props, all of that stuff, live betting that you can have fun with during the game. But, of course, Sunday, a full day of NFL with 2 games, AFC and NFC championship games, all the lines, over-unders, odds, money line, all that already up at Bet Saracen on their app. Plus, during the game, you'll have live betting. They got a 10% parlay bonus you can check out. So, if you haven't checked out the Bet Saracen app, get that on your phone. Get ready for a big weekend. Super Bowl a couple of weekends away. Going to be a lot of fun. Get the Bet Saracen app downloaded today in the Apple App Store or wherever you get your Android apps at. And get after it with Bet Saracen. Go to betsaracen.com for more details.
All right, when we return, Tommy mentioned the Super Bowl. 4 teams this weekend trying to get there. Only 2 will move on. Who do you think is going to move on to the Super Bowl in 2 weeks? We'll answer that question coming up as we're excited for Conference Championship this weekend, and we're excited here to be here on a Fast Break Friday. A lot to get to in the next 3 hours of the Morning Rush.
Listen to every Razorback basketball game right here. HitThatLine.com.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
This is the Morning Rush.
Touchdown, Arkansas!
1.9% financing for 72 months on America's #1 truck, the Ford F-150. Right now at Harry Robinson's Salisal Ford. 1.9% for 72 months. And Harry Robinson has the selection you want in stock, including XLTs, Lariats, and Platinum F-150s. 1.9% for 72 months won't last long. Harry Robinson's Salisal Ford. 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Salisal.
This year, we considered hiring an ad agency to help with our marketing.
They pitched impressive visuals and a script that was inspiring.
And exotic animal mascots to help grab your attention.
In the end, we just decided to tell it to you straight. Shelter Insurance has award-winning customer service at affordable rates.
Plus, our local agents are there to help you understand what coverage you need.
See Agent Chris Dooley in Fort Smith.
Flu vaccines, both regular and high dose for seniors, are now available at Law's Drugstore in Fort Smith. Call 452-6116 to schedule your shot appointment. Usually there is no cost when covered by your insurance. Law's Drug has COVID vaccines, RSV vaccines for ages 60 plus. Pneumonia and tetanus shots are also available. Law's Drugstore, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drugstore, open 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family. Are you an angler having trouble finding all the bait, tackle, and more for your fishing needs? Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, now located in Fort Smith next to Witts Marine on North 11th Street, is your place. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle also has the largest selection of plastics in the River Valley. Reactor Innovation, Bobby Garland, Zoom, Mega Bass, and more. Check out the Daiwa Rod and Reels. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, 803 North 11th Street in Fort Smith, 479-926-9320. Also get your rod and reels repaired. Come see us next to Witts Marine at Make a Wake Bait and Tackle.
Do you need an oil change but don't have time to drop off your car? S&J Express Lube will let you sit in your car while they do the work, and it only takes about 15 minutes with no appointment needed. Prices start at $35.99 for a 20-point inspection service. S&J Express Lube is open Monday through Friday 9 till 6 and Saturdays 8 till noon. You'll find them at 14818 Highway 71 South in Jenny Lynn. Check them out on Facebook too. S&J Express Lube, your authorized Castrol dealer in Sebastian County. They are waiting on you now.
Billy, can I ask you a question?
You just did.
Seriously, we are getting a lot of positive comments about you. What's your secret?
Oh, I just follow the 4 W's.
4 W's? Aren't there 5?
5?
Yeah. What, where, when, why, and who?
Wes, who starts with an H?
That's how.
I don't know how. It just does.
No, who starts with a W?
You sure?
Positive.
Anywho, my 4 W's are, what would Wes want? I picture every customer like there's you asking for something. What you want is what they want. What would Wes want? W, 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 4 W's. Makes 8 U's.
Huh?
Treat customers like you, and it doubles the people. Pretty simple the way I see it.
4 W's. What would Wes want? Billy, you're brilliant.
Eat Jim's RazorbackPizza.com.
How do I drive more traffic to my website? How do I increase my Google rankings? If these are just a few of the questions you have for your business, then we should talk. In addition to sports radio marketing, ESPN Arkansas can help your business be found online. From website design to geo-targeted campaigns, search engine marketing, social media management, streaming video campaigns, and much more. ESPN Arkansas is your digital marketing partner. Go to espnarkansasdigital.com for your free digital marketing audit, or email us at sales@hitthatline.com to schedule an appointment.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Tommy Tychuk, thank you guys for your support, and go Hogs.
12:55 to go. Mark, top of the key, three-pointer good.
Subscribe to the Bud Light Morning Rush podcast. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, and share.
You heard that Tremont highlight there, and again, his status for tomorrow is unknown to this point. Eric Musselman's going to be with us later on at 11:30 today. Maybe we'll get an update that we'll talk about on halftime and Ruskin and Zach, and we'll hopefully have some more answer there. For now, we're going to talk some football here on a Fast Break Friday. Conference Championship weekend, one of the better sports weekends of the year, featuring 4 teams that have some Arkansas connections, and we'll get to those coming up.
And while we got a second, I want to remind you the 2024 Miracles of Magic Radiothon. We're glad to be a part of that with Arkansas Children's Northwest. We had more donations again yesterday, and appreciate everyone that's helped with the cause of the mission that Arkansas Children's Northwest serves, and that's taking care of the kids in Northwest Arkansas, never turning a kid away regardless of insurance or ability to pay. They're trying to raise a total of $200,000 on February the 2nd, a week from today, and we're proud to be a part of it here with the Morning Rush, and we hope that whether it's $20, whether it's $10. Or as we had one anonymous, very generous donor give $500. Every gift matters. Go to hitthatline.com. You'll see the tab on the menu bar that says Children's Fundraiser. Click there. We'd appreciate you clicking on the Morning Rush tab and donate what you can. Every little bit helps, and you can help right now. It's brought to you by Honda of Fayetteville. You can stop in their showroom inside the Fayetteville Auto Park or see them at HondaFayetteville.com. We appreciate their support of Arkansas Children's Northwest, and we look forward to next Friday's 2024 Miracles and Magic Radiothon with Arkansas Children's Northwest, Honda of Fayetteville, and the Morning Rush.
All right, so let's start with the first game featuring the Kansas City Chiefs and the Baltimore Ravens. You made a good point before the show that I didn't think about. Whether it's Montana, Brady, name your favorite quarterback or a guy that's in the GOAT conversation, they did have playoff wins on the road. And for the first time in 6 years, Patrick Mahomes is having to go on the road to get to a Super Bowl. Did it last week in Buffalo in an epic clash with Josh Allen. Now he's going to do it against what I presume to be the league MVP in Lamar Jackson in Baltimore. And that is adding to his legacy. Tom, if he wins this weekend, 4 Super Bowl appearances in 6 years. That puts him again in the Brady conversation, at least in that stretch that Brady had this past cycle, basically. And he
Not just 6 years, his first 6 years, right?
He
or
was
7. He's been in the league, I think 7 starters, 6.
Yeah, because I think he was a rookie under Alex Smith for 1 year, if I remember that right. And then, like
but
you
as
said,
a starter, 6 years as a starter, 7 years in the league. You compare that to the all-time greats in any sport. And Jordan didn't have a run like that in his first 6 years. Montana did not have one. Brady be closer, but not nothing of that kind of density in championship games and Super Bowls. So, I mean, you just think about a 6-year run and it being basically his first 6 years, at least as a starter. That's going to be hard to ever top or probably even match.
Yeah, and it's going to be an epic game, 2 o'clock, I would expect. CBS tickets right now as low as $464 if you're in the Baltimore, Washington, D.C. area to watch those guys play.
Probably be worth it.
And not that his legacy isn't always on the line when he's at the play, because he's trying to get into that GOAT conversation, something he already is. He's definitely one of the better quarterbacks I've ever witnessed to this point. He's the best QB in the NFL. But it's a bigger game for Lamar Jackson in the sense that he could get over that playoff hump and get to his first Super Bowl. Harbaugh's already won one, beat his brother Jim about 10 or 11 years ago, whatever it was. But this would be the first in the kind of Lamar Jackson era.
Yeah, and, we've talked about Mahomes' legacy and winning on the road. I mean, when's Lamar going to have a better opportunity to further his legacy? And I don't know the list. I'm sure there is, a short list of Heisman Trophy winners that have won a Super Bowl and maybe even a Super Bowl MVP. So he'd have a chance to add to his legacy and to the mantle pieces.
Yeah, I would guess kind of like you're saying. So we talk about college NFL coaches to win both: Carroll, Switzer, Johnson. I would guess, I don't know if the list is smaller, but I guess it's probably right around like 3 or 4 of guys that have won a Heisman Trophy and an NFL MVP.
I shouldn't have said that without knowing the answer. I need to Google that. I'm sure there's a quick list if I Google it. But, yeah, I mean, talk about a legacy that could be hard to be matched. That would be it.
Yeah, and so then you go to the other game where the Razorbacks are plentiful. 5 total, 2 marquee ones in Greenlaw, and then Frank Ragnow as well. You hear what Dave Campbell talking about Frank Ragnow earlier this week. I mean, just nothing but good things to say about Frank.
Frank's a stud. That's what he does, and he's willing to lay it on the line, and he's not going to miss it. He's gonna we talk about it all the time, but it's like, man, you may not be 100%, but if you feel like you can produce, you can win at 80% of yourself, and that's what Frank does. He believes he can, and he trusts himself, and he trusts those guys next to him, and it's just, there's nothing easy about that. Not everybody can do it, and that's okay, but he can.
He can, and he's going to have to this weekend because that San Francisco defense can get after the quarterback, whether it's Campbell. Bosa is probably the best pass rusher in the league. You want to keep Goff protected. You want to keep that running game going with Gibbs and the rest of that offense. And they've got some pieces. And Ragnow is, again, even as a trench play guy, is probably one of the most talked about players on that team.
Chuck will tell you this later. We got a lot of Cowboy fans. Any good Cowboy fans hates the 49ers. So rooting for the Lions, rooting for Frank Ragnow will be easy. No offense to Dre Greenlaw, but there'll be a lot in our audience rooting for the Lions. And I think America will root for the Lions because of the underdog story. Mm-hmm. I would love to see a Chiefs-Lions Super Bowl, but I don't know if that's going to necessarily pan out.
We had a listener that was talking with us yesterday on the McCarty Daniel hotline. If you've got some thoughts on this conference championship weekend as well, you could jump in at 877-377-6963. One of the things he spoke to is you end where you started, because it started the NFL season in Arrowhead Stadium,
Lions,
Detroit,
Chiefs,
and Chiefs. And now you could have a potential. I don't know if that's...
I remember saying, why in the world are they putting the Lions in this primetime game? This makes no sense. The Lions?
The NFL knew something, man.
Yeah.
Credit to Roger Goodell and his staff, because they got the upset victory, and now they find themselves in the first conference championship game in I don't know how long. So congratulations again to Dan Campbell. He was made fun of. He was laughed at when
he's way too big to be making fun of.
Yeah,
maybe you do it from afar.
Those media members that he's called out some guys in the press conference that he, I guess, kept their press clippings or whatnot. But I'm like you, not that I don't have this hate, even though San Francisco just beat Green Bay. I don't have this huge hate. Dre Greenlaw had a great game. If they move on,
You're
I think
a Cowboys
that's awesome.
fan.
Yeah, but I'm a Packers fan. Packers fans hate Niners too.
I don't like Cowboys.
Yeah, no, that's true. But I was just like, when Love threw that last pick, I was like, no. And then I saw who picked it off. I was like, well, I don't hate this. If there's one guy to intercept a Jordan Love pass, it's okay. I guess it's Drake.
Well, because he's a Razorback.
Yeah,
he ruined your team's destiny.
It's a Razorback, man. Right or wrong.
So you're not really a Packer.
Oh, I'm a fraud.
Okay.
I'm very open. I'm a fraud Packer fan. But right or wrong, if a Razorback does something against my team, like if Ricky Council does something against the Oklahoma City Thunder, I'm like, oh, it's Ricky Council. He's a former Razorback. I care more about Arkansas than I do any
Clearly,
of my
here's the
professional
man,
teams.
folks, that does not have money bet on the game on his team.
No, I did
That's
not.
all I can hear.
I did not.
That's
bet
all
on the
I hear.
Packers.
Razorback, Love, Phantom, be damned if it's going to cost you money.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much. By the way, Ricky Council had 11 points, I think, last night. So he had his first kind of big action in NFL. It wasn't his NBA debut, but he did look pretty good the other night. All right, we got Chuck Barrett coming up. Of course, he's going to be live in Bud Walton Arena tomorrow, starting at 4:30 right here on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. We'll talk more about College Game Day, the game itself, and some other NFL and college football storylines coming up.
Y'all are talking about Lane Kiffin going to Eugene, Oregon. Who wants to live in a tree house in the rain all the time?
You're listening to The Morning Rush.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Join ESPN Arkansas in the Morning Rush in supporting Arkansas Children's Northwest all month long. We will be raising money to help Arkansas Children's Northwest fulfill its promise of making children better today and healthier tomorrow. You can donate now through February 2nd online at hitthatline.com. Be sure to click on the Morning Rush fundraising link brought to you by Honda of Fayetteville. Buy or lease your dream vehicle today. View online at hondaoffayetteville.com or stop by their showroom inside Fayetteville Auto Park.
Tommy Kraft here for The Fence Man. Do you own a business that needs more security? Or maybe you just want a better look and more curb appeal? A new fence from The Fence Man can give you both. In business for more than 40 years, The Fence Man can custom install any type of fencing, gates, and controlled access for your business. Call The Fence Man and ask about 18 months same as cash financing with approved credit. 479-782-3936. That's 479-782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
This is The Morning Rush.
Great to be on here with you guys. I think you guys do awesome work, and I really enjoy listening to you.
And we're back with the action. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. With an irresistible taste and zero sugar, Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any sports fan. So make sure you... Wait, Jim, I didn't mean try it right now. We're still on the air.
Best Coke ever? Take a taste, Jen.
Really?
No, not right now, Jen. We got a game to call.
1.9% financing for 72 months on America's #1 truck, the Ford F-150. Right now at Harry Robinson's Salisal Ford. 1.9% for 72 months. And Harry Robinson has the selection you want in stock, including XLTs, Lariats, and Platinum F-150s. 1.9% for 72 months won't last long. Harry Robinson's Salisal Ford. 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Salisal.
Shop Meadows Lumber True Value for great bargains of the month. Pick up an allergen defense furnace filter from Filtrete for just $9.99. Stay toasty with a portable heater from Soleil for only $19.99. Keep your feathered friends fed and happy with a 10-pound bag of black oil sunflower seed or 20-pound bag of wild bird food for just $7.99. Choose from Bounty's select A-size paper towels or Charmin's Mega Roll Ultra Strong Bath Tissue for $9.99. Grab a Stanley Fat Max 25-foot tape measure for just $15.99. Get these bargains of the month while supplies last. Meadows Lumber True Value.
Hey, this is Ty Richardson for Jake Neal and his team at Jerry Neal's Barbecue. Jake's dad, Jerry, started cooking barbecue at Jerry Neal's in 1977, and Jake took over and has been doing the same thing ever since. I got ribs the last time I was there. Woo! Man, they were good. Don't forget about the catfish either. It's cooked to order, so it's hot and fresh every single time. The best catfish in the River Valley. Jerry Neal's Barbecue, Catfish, and Catering, 1823 Phoenix Avenue in Fort Smith.
Remodeling your bathroom? Don't let your imagination be limited by out-of-the-box shower doors or tub enclosures. Arkansas Glass and Mirror is your local source for all things glass, including plexiglass, mirrors, and shower doors since 1964. Arkansas Glass and Mirror has more selections, better prices, and the experience to help you build the shower of your dreams. They also have the only showroom in the area to help you create those dreams. Professional installation and professional service. Only at Arkansas Glass and Mirror, 1316 South Zero, Fort Smith, or online at arkansasglassandmirror.com.
Gelco Outdoors is ready to help keep you warm during the cold winter days. Keep warm in insulated bib overalls, jackets, coats, vests, socks, gloves, boots, and underwear. Warm up with great savings on the 50% off clearance racks of men's, women's, and children's casual wear. Gelco has a great selection of Little Buddy space heaters. Gelco Outdoors, your local store for cold winter gear. Be safe and stay warm from Gelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
If you knew all that Jody's Auto Service Centers can do for your vehicle and you'd never take your vehicle anywhere else.
My fleet is small, 14 trucks and cars. It's a struggle every day with parts, employees, and scheduling, but one thing I never worry about is vehicles. Jody's has special fleet pricing, special in and out service, or free shuttle and pickup and delivery service. And they do everything, service, repair, and maintenance. That makes my life much easier. All my vehicles go to Jody's.
Latest technology and highly trained technicians means we could do it all. From the most highly technical repairs to everyday oil change specials, tires, everything, even diesels. Jody'sAuto.com schedule free shuttle service or pickup and delivery. Get a tire quote, get financing. Jody's Auto Service Centers, voted best of the best by our customers year after year. We're your neighbors since 1984 with 3 full-service locations in Fort Smith and Van Buren. See for yourself at JODYSauto.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Y'all ready for this?
You're listening to The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
I do think when you look at what's happening with the basketball program and people's disappointment over it, it is compounded by what happened in football. There's no question about that. They are separate entities, and frankly, I get irritated when people compare the two, as you probably gathered a time or two. There's 2/3 of the conference season remaining, and they're going to play those games. Every single one of them is going to be played. They're going to play at least once in the conference tournament. So you got a lot of ball games left.
Start game 1 of the 12 games remaining in the regular season tomorrow at 5 o'clock against Kentucky. Chuck's going to be on the call. We will discuss that. And we kind of got in this conversation late yesterday talking about these facts and figures with college football ratings and kind of where ESPN is with the contract situation of the college football playoff. I want to discuss that as well.
I want to tell you about our friends at Modular Orange. I had a good friend of mine who's opening 2 small businesses here in northwest Arkansas, River Valley area, and needs help with the website. Brand new startup business, right? So clean slate, new logos, the whole bit, and Modular Orange is going to build the website for both businesses. And they can help your business, whether it's a startup like I'm talking about with my friend, or whether it's a business that has a website, but maybe the person that's in charge of it's left, or you've lost the passwords to certain things, or you're like most of us, you're running your business. You don't have time to mess with your website. Let the pros at Modular Orange do that. You said, well, that's got to be expensive. What's $95 a month? Well, how much up front? $0. No big upfront expense, none. And then they take care of everything from creating your website turnkey to updating it as you go along, to the hosting, to the security. All of it is included in the $95 a month. So it's a real easy decision that you can build easily within your budget. Go to modularorange.com for details. They got a great FAQ section that'll answer most of your questions, and then give them a call to start the process. 479-755-3043. Most websites done within 30 days. 479-755-3043, or again, modularorange.com.
Chuck, hopefully Arkansas men's basketball can take some of that juju from last night as the women's team smashed Kentucky 88-61. I don't think a lot of people saw that coming.
We'll see what happens tomorrow. I said this yesterday, and I believe it. If Arkansas has got a great game in them, and I don't know if they do, but if they do, we'll see it tomorrow.
And it's time to figure out if you're going to have any home court edge. I mean, there's been times you've lost 3 SEC games at home, but this is a place that generally is tough to win, and it seems like the whole world's against you. So I kind of wonder, did some Bud Walton magic finally appear with this team? With a big name on the front of the jersey like Kentucky coming in.
Well, we've seen it a couple of times already this year. We certainly saw it in the regular season when Duke was here. That building doesn't win the game, though.
No.
I mean, the players have to go win the game. And when you look at what Kentucky does well, and when you look at what Arkansas has not done well, the matchup certainly favors Kentucky. There's no doubt about that. When you're not playing well, sometimes it doesn't matter if you're at home or on the road. Just like sometimes if you are playing well, it doesn't matter if you're on the road or at home. So, again, I expect Arkansas to play with great effort tomorrow.
And you mentioned what Kentucky does well. It's probably the best offensive team in the league. They've got a lot of length. Big Z, again, playing his first 2 games. Tommy made an important point earlier, him just kind of getting acclimated. He's only played in 2 games after finally getting eligible. So Cal's still trying to figure out his minutes, his rotation. They look good. He looked good his home debut. Not as great against South Carolina. Looked a little bewildered at times. Again, another road matchup for him. I wonder if he is going to look like he did against South Carolina or if he's going to look like he did in Lexington.
Well, you have to be concerned about him, but the other guys are the ones that, Big Z, I'm going to have to practice his name between now and tomorrow night. He's part of the reason Kentucky's good, but if you go into the game with him being he doesn't even start. So, he's sort of a novelty here of late. And I know he's a great player, but you better be concerned about the other guys.
Yeah, and they got plenty of them. This is one of Cal's best freshman class, including a legacy in Reed Shepherd. We played the Jim Nance call at the top of our open of his dad getting a shot blocked by Clint McDaniel in I think it was the 95 game at this point. So you got a legacy impact. You got these true freshmen. You got Reeves, who's back. So this is kind of I would say a typical Cal Kentucky team where he's got like an older guy or 2, but he's got these freshman phenoms that are still trying to figure it out, and maybe they figured it out a little sooner than usually Kentucky teams have.
Well, here's the thing. There's not much difference now in a true freshman. When you use that term, figure it out, that's kind of a catch-all term. But when you use that term, there's not much difference in a freshman and a guy that's played 3 or 4 years somewhere else, as we've seen this year. We've seen guys that are experienced players, and, they've come in, and for whatever reason, if you want to, again, use that term, figure it out, there's a lot of evidence that they've not yet. So, Cal's one of those guys you love to hate, but Cal does a good job. He's a good coach. He's got a good team, And Arkansas is going to have to play their butt off tomorrow to stay in it.
And we'll see about Trevin Brazile. Here's Muss and kind of his status after the game, and maybe what we'll see from Trevin. We're going to hear from Muss later on at 11:30.
I'm not a doctor. Therefore, for me, right now it's soreness. You know what I mean? So I'm sure that, anytime there's soreness involved, I'm sure, we don't have our team doctor with us. So you go back home and, our trainer's really good. He's usually spot on with all the evaluations, so until I get further word, it is what Matt, our trainer, like I said, he's been excellent since he's been with us, and he's right now calling it soreness, and so rehab and things like that, and you let the doctor check it out as well.
So we saw Trevin go for a career high in 3-pointers against Duke earlier this year. He's only had one double digit scoring outburst against any SEC team. Guys, if there's time for him to wake up, I don't know if he's going to, but this would be the game tomorrow to do that.
Well, yes, certainly for all of them it would be. I think when you look at this, we're kind of speaking in generalities right now. You look at what Kentucky's done well. They have turned the other side over, and Arkansas has got to avoid that. This game's about turnovers tomorrow, in my mind. I know there are other aspects, and other people may look at this game and they may see it differently. But Arkansas has not valued possession of the basketball. Now, generally, teams are better in that regard when they're at home. But to me, that's a lot of what tomorrow's about. I expect Kentucky to shoot well. They generally do. If Arkansas is going to win, they're going to have to shoot a lot better than they have. That's an absolute certainty. But it starts with hanging on to the basketball.
And I think it starts with the first 8 or 10 minutes of the game. You look at the 6 SEC games, in 3 of them, you never led the game for a second. The other night, Arkansas turns the ball over way too much in the first 8 or 10 minutes of the game, and it was pretty well over at Ole Miss. So to everything you're saying is right, but you better be ready from the tip, because Kentucky can run you out of the gym before the second media timeout at the under 12, and it could be over. And that's been Arkansas's problem too often in the first third of the SEC. 8 minutes in, and you're kind of fighting from behind, and not much longer, and you're out of the game.
Well, you mentioned the turnover aspect, Chuck.
Well, that's what happened early against Ole Miss.
Yeah,
exactly. They gave away all those possessions.
And you mentioned the turnover. Kentucky also, oddly enough, even with younger guys, does not turn the ball over. You would think that a team that has a lot of new players would still be in a situation where, yes, they can have these scoring outbursts at times, but they're top 10 in the country, I think number 1 in the conference, in not turning the ball over.
They're 4th in the country in assist-to-turnover ratio.
Mm-hmm.
They don't turn the ball over much. They average, they're in the top, let's just take a look at this right now. Kentucky's assist-to-turnover ratio is 4th in the country. Arkansas's is 265th. So,
bottom third.
That's a key area right there. They're 10th in the country in assists per game. Arkansas is 296th. So, that's an offense. And, again, we go back to this catch-all term connected. But I think we saw in the South Carolina game, we saw in the Ole Miss game, we've seen in some other games, the stark contrast between a team that plays together and a team that does not. I thought the South Carolina game was an absolute clinic. If you want to take that word connected and put it up on a big screen and have, audio-visual aids, show the highlights of that game. Show the highlights of that game. You got one team that's connected in all phases, and you've got another team that's just lost. And it didn't change all that much against Ole Miss. But now, having said all that, again, if they've got a great game in them, we'll see it tomorrow.
Yeah. And let me ask you, because you've done this a long time, and you've lived the travel that comes along with it. But Kentucky plays Tuesday night. They get beat. Arkansas plays a road game Wednesday night in the late game. Get back, late, short turnaround, one less day of direct prep for this game, but do play at home Saturday. Is there an edge in any of this, or does the fact that Kentucky comes here wipe that out?
I think the fact that it's the Kentucky game changes some of that.
Okay.
If you're saying, but now let me say this. If you're playing an 8 o'clock road game, and let's say you've got a travel issue. Arkansas didn't, thankfully, the other night. But let's say you've got a travel issue, and you're into the wee hours getting home on Thursday morning. Well, a lot of Thursday shot, from a physical standpoint. You may go back out there, but, I mean, you're just not quite all there. And then, you play a day game Saturday. So, I mean, you got a fairly quick turnaround there. But I really think when Kentucky's in town, it's a little bit different story.
Yep. We'll see if they
and it's at 5 o'clock, guys, instead of
right.
A
You're not playing at noon. You're not playing at noon.
You mentioned the weather is supposed to be subsided by
12.
Yeah,
the app on my phone says by late morning all the rain's gone. So I mean, sometimes people look at their phone or whatever, it's going to rain, or it may affect game day, and maybe some of the people that might not otherwise get out and brave that to go just for the curiosity of seeing it. But for the evening, the afternoon and the evening, right now, currently the forecast is all that rain should be out of here by lunchtime.
Yeah, we played the clip, Chuck, of you talking about basically a third of the conference game that we played, two-thirds of it remaining, 12 games. And one of the questions Muss was asked post-game, he wasn't a huge fan of the question. I actually thought it was a decent one, is you've got some guys on this roster, this is their final season. It's their final year. I mean, they came to Arkansas to get looked at by NBA scouts and get to postseason. Those were the two main reasons. And I guess NIL probably had something to do with it as well. I mean, at this point, you're not an NCAA tournament team. You're not a postseason team. You'll play one postseason game, potentially two in the SEC tournament, and go home. I mean, I would think that would mean something to the guys that are on this roster that won't ever play college basketball again, maybe not even ever basketball again. And I don't know if that's the right way to approach some of these guys, but it made sense to me at least.
Oh, I think from the outside looking in, that's one of those things you think about. But I don't think that's discussed within the team. No, I think maybe if you've got 10 guys on your team and you all came in together and you've all played for the same team for the last 3 or 4 years and all that stuff, yeah, maybe it matters then. I don't think that stuff matters as much as it used to. I just don't.
Well, you think about, again, the what college basketball has turned into with the transfer portal and stuff like that. And we referenced the Elite Eight stat last year where it was like 31 of 32 guys were upperclassmen. So it was something insane. I remember you discussing that at some point in 2023. The other thing you can notice about Arkansas's roster, and we always talk about the turnover, not just with the players, but the coaches. If you look at the concentrated base of last year's Final Four teams and how many years those guys were actually on the roster, yes, there were freshmen, yes, there were transfer portal guys as well, but a good chunk of those guys were guys that stayed in. And I know that, again, it's been mentioned, you got to get rid of this team and cycle through and go throughout. I don't know if that's the best formula heading into next year. And I don't know what Muss's approach is going to be. If you lose 10 or 11 guys, you're bringing that in. I just don't know if that's the best philosophy heading into next season if we're looking ahead to that.
Well, I mean, a lot of these guys are just going to be gone because of eligibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as though, you've got a bunch of guys that are underclassmen. You've got guys who are in here and they're going to play this year, and that's going to be it. I mean, Arkansas's got some core guys back. I mean, there's core guys back from a year ago. It's not like this is an entirely new team.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, to be real frank about it, they've not gotten what they would like to have from some of the people who came back.
They haven't
just to be brutally honest.
They haven't been connected.
And so, consequently, I mean, you've got you want to have your new guys come in, and you want them to add things to what you have and make you a championship contender. Or if you need a guy that's going to be your primary scorer, you need to go out and get that guy. But it's not as though Arkansas does not have returnees from a season ago. It's not as though that isn't there.
And I don't know what's more disappointing. Is it the guys that were on the roster last year that didn't come into their own or take what they did last year and really build off that? Or is it the guys that you expected to come in as transfers and really help out this team that haven't done it? If I had to pick one, I would probably say the guys that are on it because they know what to expect. They know what's expected of them, and it just hasn't panned out. But it's a lot.
I'd say both.
Yeah.
It's a different situation. When you're a returnee, you're expected to show the way. When you're a guy who's brought in to play, you're expected to come in and play. So the expectations of the players are different. But I would, I'd say both. I wouldn't pin any extra blame on anybody. Hey, let me talk to you just for a second about Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. If you're buying or selling a home, if you find yourself in the real estate market, I want to recommend them to you. I can talk about my experience, number one. That's really what I can talk about with the most frequency and the most accuracy, because I went through it. I partnered with them multiple times to buy and to sell. Every time we got from contract to close in short order. And on each occasion, I walked away absolutely satisfied. Everything went the way I hoped it would. Now, I'm not saying it goes that way every time. I know everybody's situation's different. The market's different. And, you need someone that understands where you are, your neighborhood, your block, what that means as a buyer or a seller. And you get all that with Weicker Realtors, the Griffin Company. Real estate professionals. And you need them now more than ever, I can assure you. Now, they've got an office in Fayetteville. They're in Springdale, Bentonville, Fort Smith. They're in Branson now. And you can always log on to WeicherGriffin.com.
Guys, I'm sure it's the same for you, but I'll say this. Anywhere I go, whether sitting down with some guys for lunch or you're just having a conversation with somebody, it always gets to the Razorbacks in the first 2 or 3 minutes, about this basketball team. Everyone's got a theory. Everyone's got a solution. They wonder what your answer is to fix it. I mean, I'll say this, even though things have not went the way you've wanted, people are talking about it. In fact, I think it's one of the hottest topics in our state right now.
Well, the last 4 years, when we've gotten to this point, we began to make plans for what we were going to do in basketball postseason.
Yep.
And not any plans to make right now, or at least not many people want to hedge their bets and make them right now. So I think that's a little bit different. And as fans, as Razorback fans, people's lives are different as a result of that. And so this is what they normally talk about this time of year. There's not, there may not be a deep run this season. Although I do want to say this, and I've fallen into this trap, and I hear us do it, and others as well. I do want to go back to what I said a minute ago, what you played on that clip. There are 2/3 of the conference games that remain.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing. It's either going to get a whole lot worse or it is going to get better. I do believe that. I don't believe we're going to see an 18-game Razorback basketball team that plays the same, from start to finish. Now, it could go. I mean, people say, well, it can't get any worse. Oh, yes, it can. Oh, yes, it can. It can get a whole lot worse. But, there are a lot of games remaining, and the idea that you just throw away the season, on the 26th of January, I don't think that's the way to go, because you are going to have to play all of them. And all you can do is try to dig out minute by minute. I don't know if this is going to be a team that can turn it around. I don't know. But I know they're still going to play 12 more conference ball games, come hell or high water.
You mentioned your friends talking about the Arkansas basketball. Jerry's also phoned in this morning on the McClarty Daniel hotline. He wants to talk about Razorback basketball. Good morning, Jerry.
Where's the muscle at, guys? I don't understand. We get pushed around. Ole Miss big guys, South Carolina's big guys. Where's our muscle?
It kind of makes me think of those old Wendy's commercials back in the "Where's the beef?" Yeah, where's the old lady?
Exactly
Where's the beef?
But we get pushed around, guys. Oh, you know what I'm saying? It's hard to believe that you get beat off the dribble as bad as you do, and really you don't have nothing to beat it off to, because the big guy from UConn, you remember him last year?
Sonogo, yeah.
We get our head pounded in by guys like that. I want to know where our tough guys like that is, and why are we not putting more meat on them boys' bones to say, we're awful skinny. Would you not agree with that, Chuck?
Oh, I think there's some guys that are thin, yes.
Yeah, he misevaluated in the offseason. You lost your big tough guy in Mikel Mitchell. Makai's the more skilled big man, and you didn't go get anyone. And I was banging.
Well, now, wait a second. At what point last year was Mikel Mitchell a key part of this team?
He was. If you're going to have a banger,
he didn't play enough to bang.
He did at times. He played in that Kentucky game.
Okay. We'll have to disagree on that one. I don't think Mikal leaving was that big a deal. I just put it that way.
You lost your only banger inside. Mekhi, again, at 6'10", is the more skilled of the two twins. You added Chandler Lawson at 6'8". I know we talk about his wingspan all the time. He's slender. Jerry's right. You didn't add any beef. And you've gotten beaten by beef every postseason game you've played in when you go up against it. So, I don't understand that. I would think that after this year – and after the postseason losses that Arkansas suffered, that they will try and go.
But you don't just wave a magic wand and a 6'10" guy that's got meat on his bones appears. I mean,
do you know who they were after? I mean, do you know who they were after?
I mean, I can't. I mean, I'm not privy to that information, but I know that guys didn't land on the roster. So
my point is I think they were after some of those guys, and they just didn't get them. But look. If you want to pinpoint beef inside, yeah, that's an issue. But I still will submit to you that the biggest issue on this team defensively is the inability to stop the ball.
Yep. No, they can't do that. JT in Hot Springs brings up a good point. Kamani Johnson, even at 6'7", would bang around.
Kamani's a guy that kind of personality, that kind of player you miss for sure.
It didn't matter. I mean, he was a smaller, basically power forward at 6'7". It did not matter.
General toughness is missing.
Yeah, I would be shocked if Muss and this staff in this portal cycle did not go get a 6'11", 6'10". Because there are guys going to be out there. There's going to be more. It's going to increase every year. You're going to continue to see more and more players hit the transfer portal. Not only the toughness acts, but the defense. You're going to see them get a big man or two in this next cycle. Because the SEC, it's featured. I mean, you're going up multiple guys tomorrow in Kentucky. You got punked.
Well, you have to because you're losing Graham and you're losing Mekhi. You have to go get big guys. You have to replace those guys.
But those weren't, again, last year defensive presence, and I didn't understand why they didn't understand that.
Well, my point is they're going to go get big men just simply because of attrition.
Yeah.
I mean, they got guys leaving. They got to replace those bodies. So, yes, they're going to go get big men.
Yeah. Join us on the McClarty Daniel hotline. You can call or text the show right now, 877-377-6963. 6 locations in Springdale and Bentonville. Hey, a good deal is never too far away. McClarty Daniel is always online at McClartyDaniel.com.
All right, when we return, I want to talk more about this college football playoff, and there's still some meat on that bone. We'll get to that coming up. Stay with us. Hour 2 of the Morning Rush is next.
Join ESPN Arkansas in the Morning Rush in supporting Arkansas Children's Northwest all month long. We will be raising money to help Arkansas Children's Northwest fulfill its promise of making children better today and healthier tomorrow. You can donate now through February 2nd online at hitthatline.com. Be sure to click on the Morning Rush fundraising link brought to you by Honda of Fayetteville. Buy or lease your dream vehicle today. View online at hondaoffayetteville.com or stop by their showroom inside Fayetteville Auto Park.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Roger Scott for Leaf Guard of Arkansas. Attention homeowners, winter is here and so is the 2024 January Winter Savings Sale. Your chance to upgrade your home with Leaf Guard's exclusive offer. We're on the lookout for 50 savvy homeowners to join our winter savings event. Now this offer is for new orders only and doesn't include material costs, but you contact our knowledgeable sales associates for all the details. Drum roll, please. All right, that's a one-handed drum roll. It's just not the same thing. But 50 lucky homeowners will enjoy an amazing half off on labor for a complete Leaf Guard system. Yeah, that's right, half off. But that's not all. Inquire about our 18 months no-interest financing. Also have special discounts for seniors and military personnel. With a minimum purchase and approved credit, your dream upgrade is within reach. Imagine a spring without mucking, mud, and shingle grit. Leaf Guard gutters are the only true one-piece seamless covered gutter system on the market, guaranteed to never clog. Check us out at 501-664-5400 or visit LeafGuardandMore.com to secure your spot in the 2024 January Winter Savings Sale. Leaf Guard, your ticket to a worry-free home this winter.
This is the Morning Rush.
How do I drive more traffic to my website? How do I increase my Google rankings? If these are just a few of the questions you have for your business, then we should talk. In addition to sports radio marketing, ESPN Arkansas can help your business be found online. From website design to geo-targeted campaigns, search engine marketing, social media management, streaming video campaigns, and much more. ESPN Arkansas is your digital marketing partner. Go to espnarkansasdigital.com for your free digital marketing audit or email us at sales@hitthatline.com to schedule an appointment.
Some days you hit snooze, but not today. Today you have to go on a run to get burgers for the tailgate. You've got to haul something heavy, a cooler stocked with Bud Light. When you've got beer and football, nothing is hard. Until the other team scores. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus. Copyright 2023 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hi folks, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center with exciting news for the new year. Introducing Road Ready Certified used cars, inspected and certified with a comprehensive warranty. You simply can't buy a better used car. Road Ready Certified, only available at Rath Auto Resources. Another reason why all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
Subiaco in Scranton, if you made a resolution to get reliable internet for the new year, Wave Rural Connect can make that happen. The latest zone covering Subiaco in Scranton is now open. Make this New Year's resolution come true with internet, TV, and phone service from a local provider you can trust. Order online at signup.waveruralconnect.com or phone 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag technology without the headache.
If you knew all that Jody's Auto Service Centers can do for your vehicle and you'd never take your vehicle anywhere else.
My fleet is small, 14 trucks and cars. It's a struggle every day with parts, employees, and scheduling, but one thing I never worry about is vehicles. Jody's has special fleet pricing, special in and out service, or free shuttle and pickup and delivery service. And they do everything: service, repair, and maintenance. That makes my life much easier. All my vehicles go to Jody's.
Latest technology and highly trained technicians means we could do it all. From the most highly technical repairs to everyday oil change specials, tires, everything, even diesels. Jody'sAuto.com schedule free shuttle service or pickup and delivery. Get a tire quote, get financing. Jody's Auto Service Centers, voted best of the best by our customers year after year. We're your neighbors since 1984 with 3 full-service locations in Fort Smith and Van Buren. See for yourself at JODYSauto.com.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, we will see more clouds and sunshine. Our high temperatures this afternoon, low 50s north, low 40s south. Cloudy skies, possibly seeing a shower or two overnight. We drop down into the low 40s north, upper 50s south, and then showers will be with us as we head through Saturday. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by In Good Spirits, Fort Smith's premier source for fine wines, specialty beers, and liquor.
KERX, Paris, Fort Smith.
Hey, we can't make you a morning person, but we can make your mornings.
ESPN 95.3.
Three-pointer on the way, no good, close with the dunk at the buzzer. It goes and Arkansas wins.
Kentucky will play it out. Shepard looked to the bench. He'll drive, and it's taken away by Arkansas.
And it may be a technical foul on John Calipari. It's him on her team. Get him away. He's got it.
Kentucky is walking off the courts with 4.4 seconds to go. And heading to the locker room.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios. Heard all across ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Hit that line.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
You're in need of a serious attitude adjustment, young man. You better get your priorities straight.
Produced by Christian Johnston.
In spite of the juvenile snickers of some, this is a serious matter.
Call or text the Morning Rush on the McClarty Daniel hotline. With 6 locations in Springdale and Bentonville, a good deal is never too far away.
You don't need to wear a ball cap, man. You need to let those golden locks flow.
Yes, sir.
Man, you've had some great games with the Kentucky Wildcats in Bud Walton Arena over the years. Some games that you will remember for the rest of your life. I don't know if that is going to be one tomorrow at 5 o'clock. I know people are excited for College Game Day, and maybe that'll give some juice, some energy to this basketball team. We'll have to wait and see. But it has been a fun rivalry, and a rivalry that has not been one-sided by any stretch of the imagination. Kentucky's got more wins, but you'd like to add another win to your win column tomorrow. We'll talk more basketball coming up, but we do have to talk about the upcoming college football playoff transformation, not just where it's going to be moving to 12 games this season, but also 12 teams, but also to another network potentially. And we'll do that coming up in just a sec.
Hey, going to be a good weekend to get out and do a little fishing. Take along a pack of the Bobby Garland Baby Shad, the #1 volume lure of the 20 fishing brands made by Pradco. The Bobby Garland Baby Shad's made by the millions in their Fort Smith plant. The Baby Shad is without a doubt the #1 soft plastic crappie lure in the U.S. You can fish it on a light jig head or underneath a float. You'll find it to work as good as live bait. Find it at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. Look for it by name, the Bobby Garland Baby Shad.
So this guy by the name of TJ, I think it's Allamore, figured out the last 7 or 8 years that college football viewership has been dominated by 18 teams. 50% of all college football viewership is taken up by the likes of Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia, Michigan, and several others on this list. And then you've got other viewership from other teams as well. There's 130-plus FBS teams that make up D1 college football. And when you look at what we're headed towards with the 12-team college football playoff, right now ESPN is trying to get the sole rights for the college football playoff moving forward, where it'll solely be on ESPN for the next 6 years or so. It's apparently going to cost them $1.3 billion a year for these rights to do that moving forward. Now, I think it's a mistake. I thought it was a mistake when the SEC solely decided on basically ESPN and ABC to put on that network. I thought they should have tried to spread it around like the Big Ten and others have done. I think it's going to be a mistake if the college football playoff puts all their chips in one pot with ESPN. I think they should go about the NFL model and do that. But they are in the midst of that contract negotiation right now.
Here's the difference in what the SEC has to choose on an ongoing basis and what the College Football Playoff Committee will have to choose. The SEC has its own network. Who are they in partnership with? ESPN on operating that network out of Charlotte. So you're also making a decision on how you're going to operate your league network, which is a huge part of the income on the distribution of that. Chuck, the college football playoffs just wanting to get the most for airing the games. There's a full-blown business partnership on a day-to-day basis that goes on between the SEC and ESPN.
Yeah, I'm not really sure, exactly what we're driving at here, but I mean there's going to be big money change hands. People act like it's just one ESPN channel. I mean, they forget the ABC aspect of all this. There's CBS, and look, I wish the SEC was still on CBS, just for the record, but I understand why they're not. But they're going to be on ABC. They're still going to be on one of the 3 major networks. So I don't know who's going to get the playoff. I know it's going to be on TV, and I'm pretty sure I'll watch.
And I don't think the average fan really cares.
Yeah, I don't think they care.
I don't think, whether you tune into CBS or ABC or ESPN or Fox, I don't think the average fan really cares. They just want to watch the game.
So you think you're the one that wanted to talk about this from yesterday.
I think
what's the meat on the bone that you want to discuss?
The meat on the bone's the other thing you said. To me, the story is, what'd you say, 18 schools hold 50% of the viewership?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that part's
I'm
different.
of the belief that there will come a day, or at least there will be heavy conversation about those schools, those 18 or 20 schools that consume most of the viewership, being in their own class, their own league, absorbing more of the money, and the rest of the college football world's maybe left to figure it out.
Well, you're not going to have 18 or 20 teams out there break off on their own. Look, fans are going to watch the best games. You know, look at the National Football League. I'm sure that there are, over the last 5-10 years, there are a handful of teams that have dominated the viewership because they're the best teams. When I look at college football and the way people digest it, you watch the best games regionally / nationally, and then you watch your team. You watch every minute your team plays, and you watch a great game, you know, out regionally or nationally. It's always been that way. And someone may have quantified it and put it down on paper, but I suspect it's always been that way.
Well, the reason I'm bringing that up is because it's 6 years, right? So if your formula, if that philosophy, if that standpoint is going to take place at some point, it's a matter of if and when, right? Or just when, if that's the approach you're taking.
And I agree with Chuck. It won't be a 20-team league, but I could certainly see the Power 5 and those 60 or so schools getting trimmed down to about the 35 or 40 that matter most.
Here's why you care as a listener. Arkansas is not on that list. You're not.
Oh, I think we're playing a really far-fetched game of what if right here.
I think so.
I think Arkansas will be in that group. As a member of the Southeastern Conference, I think Arkansas will be in that group. They're not going to kick Arkansas out of the SEC. They're not going to do that.
I don't think it, but if you're transforming like you're talking about to that Super League, Arkansas's not one of the top, what did you say, 48? What was the number?
Guys, this idea that there's going to be a 30-team Super League, that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Now you will have some of them break away, and I think that will happen, just for the record. And Arkansas will be in that group. Let's not figure out a way where we're going to get screwed. I mean, let's not play the what-if game to the point where we're going to get screwed. That's not going to happen.
If ESPN is paying $1.3 potential billion for this said package, and it's going to be more, I would guess, past that, they want the best product imaginable from a football standpoint.
But it's the playoff. And they have that. And they have that. And they have that now.
But if you're coming from the idea that is if it's going to transition to that.
Well, but those are two separate conversations. The playoff is the cream of the crop. It's the best. It's the best games in theory of the college football season because they're the playoff games. You just think about the number of games and the cost per game. Do the math on that. How many games are in that 12-team playoff? You got 4 in that first round, then 4 more.
First
that's 8
quarters, semis,
and then 10, 11 games.
Mm-hmm.
Do the math on what that is per game and how many ads you need to sell and the distribution and everything that goes along with this. This is, $1.3 billion. Quite a risk, I think. So I think it's interesting, but I do think the numbers and the meat on that bone in the conversation is you get about 20 schools that have half the viewership. That to me is an interesting thing.
I'll go back to what I said a minute ago. Someone's quantified it now, but I suspect it's always been this way.
Yeah, you may be right. Hey, we're brought to you by Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. The best brands always at the best prices at Wheels RV. Grand Design, Forest River. You'll also find Brinkley with the Model Z that's got the latest innovations in luxury fifth wheels. And every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
All right, we'll get into our Morning Rush Daily Question coming up. It is Conference Championship Weekend in the National Football League. Where does that stack up to the best sports weekends of the year?
Laura needs to get a tune-up, it sounds like, then.
Well, I'm all for that. I don't know what that includes, but I'm for it.
You're listening to The Morning Rush.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Join ESPN Arkansas in the Morning Rush in supporting Arkansas Children's Northwest all month long. We will be raising money to help Arkansas Children's Northwest fulfill its promise of making children better today and healthier tomorrow. You can donate now through February 2nd online at hitthatline.com. Be sure to click on the Morning Rush fundraising link brought to you by Honda of Fayetteville. Buy or lease your dream vehicle today. View online at hondaoffayetteville.com or stop by their showroom inside Fayetteville Auto Park.
Tommy Kraft here for The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building your next fence. The Fence Man recently built new gates for my existing fence. The whole process was easy, quick, and most importantly, affordable. Plus, 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available with The Fence Man. If you need a new fence, gate, or anything that involves a fence, call The Fence Man, 479-782-3936. That's 782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
This is the Morning Rush.
Childs, please! Touchdown! Big rebates and low financing on a new 2023 and 2024 GMC Sierra at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Save up to $6,500 off with factory rebates on a new GMC Sierra truck. Or choose $3,750 off with 0.9% financing. And for the first time in 2 years, GMC Yukons are in stock. Conquer with confidence in a new GMC Sierra from Harry Robinson Buick GMC. We are professional grade. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Hi, this is Arsenal Ridgeback Kobe Branham. During my football career, my family has always relied on National Family Pharmacy on Dodson Avenue in Fort Smith, and your family should too. National Family Pharmacy is open 7 days a week, accepts most insurance plans and Medicaid, and is always there to answer questions about your medications.
Tissues, throat lozenges, decongestant, Pepto, wet wipes.
National Family Pharmacy, 1615 Dodson Avenue in Fort Smith. Go Hogs.
Elite Roofing is a locally owned roofing contractor. If you're building a new home or maybe need a new roof on your existing home, Elite Roofing can take care of you. Elite Roofing is known for their dependability and reliability. Just ask any of their satisfied customers. They are licensed and insured, and references are available upon request. If you need a roof, call your local roofing contractors. Elite Roofing, 478-8668. That's 478-8668. Elite Roofing, 478-8668.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check on your eligibility for the Homestead Tax Credit. Contact us today to see if you qualify. The Homestead Tax Credit can save you up to $425 off of your tax bill.
This ad sponsored by Sebastian County Assessor and paid for by Amendment 79.
Are you an angler having trouble finding all the bait, tackle, and more for your fishing needs? Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, now located in Fort Smith next to Witts Marine on North 11th Street, is your place. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle also has the largest selection of plastics in the River Valley. Reactor Innovation, Bobby Garland, Zoom, Mega Bass, and more. Check out the Daiwa Rod and Reels. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, 803 North 11th Street in Fort Smith, 479-926-9320. Also get your rod and reels repaired. Come see us next to Witts Marine at Make a Wake Bait and Tackle.
Do you want to be a part of the team that makes the best pizza and wings in town? Well, I've got great news. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria is now accepting applications for a full-time cook. Fill out your application in person Monday through Saturday between 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, 508 Garrison Avenue in downtown Fort Smith. You'll get to make the best darn pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
Boy, the double cheese and sausage. Right here, dude.
Have your travel plans changed? Looking for a place that's close to home and keep your family safe? Gaston's White River Resort is located on the beautiful White River. They offer private accommodations in their lodges and cabins. Most cabins have a fully equipped kitchen or let their restaurant staff deliver to your cabin. Call 870-431-5202 and change your plans to Gaston's White River Resort. Gaston's White River Resort, a first-class time every time.
Remodeling your bathroom? Don't let your imagination be limited by out-of-the-box shower doors or tub enclosures. Arkansas Glass and Mirror is your local source for all things glass, including plexiglass, mirrors, and shower doors since 1964. Arkansas Glass and Mirror has more selections, better prices, and the experience to help you build the shower of your dreams. They also have the only showroom in the area to help you create those dreams. Professional installation and professional service. Only at Arkansas Glass and Mirror, 1316 South Zero, Fort Smith, or online at arkansasglassandmirror.com.
your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. It's time for the Red River Dodge Morning Rush Daily Question. Red River Dodge in Heber Springs, Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer. Log on at redriverdodge.com.
Your Honor, I'd like to ask for a recess.
I'd like an answer to the question, Judge.
The court will wait for an answer.
So yesterday, Tommy called the NFL Conference Championship weekend one of the best sports weekends of the year. And it's hard to disagree with that. This is a weekend where NFL fans, casual football fans will tune in to watch the Detroit Lions and the San Francisco 49ers and the Kansas City Chiefs and the Baltimore Ravens. But is it the best sports weekend of the year? For some it is. For some of you, it's anytime Kentucky comes into town. For others, it's anytime Texas comes into town. That's your weekend that you love the most. For me, it's the first weekend of March Madness. The upsets, the craziness, the continuous games from Thursday to Sunday where you're not doing jack squat at work from basically 11 a.m. on Friday or Thursday and Friday. That's my favorite sports weekend of the year. Chuck, Tommy, what is the best sports weekend of the year?
Well, I mean, in terms of the NFL, I like the conference championship games the best. But, that's just the NFL. I don't know that I'd call it the best sports weekend. I like the first weekend of the NCAA basketball tournament. I've always liked the New Year's Day bowl games. It doesn't always fall on, the weekend. But particularly back when they played most of the bowl games on that day, I love that day. I thought that was the best sports day of the year. It's not so much anymore. But I don't know that I have a favorite sports day, but I probably have a favorite day for each sport.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
And my favorite day is the conference championship games. And I thought the divisional games last weekend were really good. I just think you always get treated to two great games. You can plan your weekend around it. I love the conference championship games. The weekend at the Masters is always hard to beat. There's always generally good drama. It's good golf. People that don't love golf will watch it. So that's up there. But I'm a golf guy. But I think even, the non-golfer will pay attention to an event like the Masters. So, and then you mentioned March Madness. It's hard to beat that first 3 or 4 days of the NCAA tournament. But I like the second weekend even better.
See, my favorite golf weekend is the British Open.
Okay.
Because you get up early. Yeah. You're up before the crack of dawn. The house is quiet. Nobody else is up. You're watching golf. I really do enjoy the British weekend, probably more than the Masters weekend, just in terms of being a television viewer.
And that's one of the few sporting events we get to talk about on Thursday and Friday morning that's live and going on during our show. We rarely
the scoreboard.
Yeah, we rarely get to update or talk about live sports during the calendar year. That's one of the handful of events sometimes you'll have a soccer match in the World Cup, but when they're playing, halfway around the world.
I don't get up for that.
You're not Matt Jones-esque. I'm excited for 2026 when it's going to be here in the U.S., and it's reportedly going to be the World Cup Finals going to be in Jerry World. So Jerry, once again, somehow, some way maneuvering his stadium into the centerpiece.
That is exciting news.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not War Memorial.
No, it's not War Memorial. It's at AT&T Stadium. I know Little Rock
Guess they barely missed out.
pushed hard for that, but I bet I would not be surprised if our own Matt.
So they're going to rip up the turf and put real grass in?
It's a great question, Chuck.
They're going to have to.
Yeah.
They're going to have to.
Is that part of it? And I guess the soccer field's bigger than
You're not going to play the World Cup on AstroTurf?
No, sir. No, sir. I
don't know anything about soccer, and I know that.
And I don't know much about soccer, but I know that's the biggest sporting event in the world. I mean, it's bigger than the Super Bowl.
Is that your favorite sports weekend, Ty? World Cup weekend?
And we get it once every 4 years. If the U.S. is in it, then I'll pay more attention. I didn't pay a lick of attention last time because our soccer program sucks. And hopefully Pulisic, the young kid, will get us going again.
I've noticed the Razorback Foundation has been pushing these trips to Paris. And, hey, if you sign up for your tickets, you can win and buy season tickets for track. You could win a package to go to Paris. That would be something I'd love to do. I'm not going to do it, but that would be hey, going to the Olympics in Paris, that'd be pretty cool. So
I think
that'd be a good sport. You're talking about sports weekends. That'd be a good sports weekend.
Yeah,
you'd be broke when you got back, but it'd be a good sports weekend.
I know there's plenty of cities. You always talk about going to Italy. The first area I want to go to is Dublin. Play golf. Check out the bar scene and that. I just don't have a huge desire to go overseas at any point. There's so many places in the United States that I haven't been. Places in Arkansas I haven't been that I want to go to before that. So,
all right, that's your Morning Rush Daily Question. It's brought to you by Red River Dodge in Heber Springs. They are Arkansas's #1 Ram dealer. Log on at redriverdodge.com.
This hour of Chuck Barrett on the Morning Rush is presented by Baxter Health. Compassionate care beyond measure.
all right, so we're talking about college football a little bit. Guys, with Nick Saban retiring and Jim Harbaugh moving on, those are two big-time personalities that have been a part of the sport and been the faces the last couple of years. Whether you like them or not, they represent a good chunk of the sport. So with them moving on, who's going to take that hold? Who's going to take that? I had two people that I jotted down that I feel like are now going to represent the sport, whether you like them or not. It's Lane Kiffin and Deion Sanders moving forward. The new age, the new model. Kirby doesn't have the personality, even with the winning. He doesn't have Saban's personality. Dabo has the personality, but he hasn't been winning. You got Ryan Day up in Ohio, who's a stick. It's nothing there. Maybe Dan Lanning, but they got to win a national championship first. I point to those two as the new faces of the sport right now. When you think
now, are you saying faces as in command media attention or winning national championships like those other guys do?
I think those are two separate conversations because you can win national championships and not necessarily, like, again, Smart doesn't have a personality. He doesn't have anything there. It's very dull. Like, you listen to his press conference, you go to sleep. Saban, you listen to him.
Well, at times, I mean, Saban's not exactly always the most charismatic individual.
There is a massive difference between Nick Saban and Kirby Smart in terms of how they speak to media, how they command a room. It's a major difference between those two.
I'll take the guy that wins on the field as opposed to the guy that wins the press conference. If you want to have a face that's glib and attracts attention and all that, you can have him. I'll take Kirby Smart 365 days a year.
Well, you think about where college football and college basketball right now, where you lose Mike Krzyzewski, Roy Williams, Jay Wright, Nick Saban, 4 of those guys retired.
National championship coaches.
Yeah. And
National championship
winners.
Coaches.
And then Jim Harbaugh as well. Both sports are seeing new transformations at this point in terms of who's commanding. And I know that happens over time. We're talking about Patrick Mahomes taking over for Tom Brady at this point. But I think the way the sport is trending with NIL and the transfer portal, the way that Ole Miss and Colorado have dominated this offseason. Now, you're right. They have to win.
Yeah, at some point you do have to win.
There's no pushback from me whatsoever on that. But if there's anyone equipped to do that right now, based on the current roster and based on the flux of the SEC with Saban retiring, and based on the fact that they get Georgia at home this year, it's Lane Kiffin in Oxford.
But you look at Deion, he was about a 1-month story in college football this year during the season.
There's a big leap between
wasn't winning.
Yeah, I mean, there's a big leap between what Deion's done at Colorado and what Kiffin's doing at Ole Miss, which both of them have done great jobs. But it's a big leap to say one of those guys is going to be the face of college football. The faces of the sport are the guys that dominate winning. Because with the promotional machines out there, of which ESPN's probably the biggest and the best, if you win enough games, they'll make you cool. Yep. Look what they've done with Saban.
Yeah.
He's 72 years old. They've made him cool. Saban's not innately cool. ESPN's helped him a lot. They've made him cool because it helps their product. You win national championships, you'll be cool. If you don't, you'll have people saying, "Man, I really like that guy. He's really good. He runs a great program. One of these days, he's going to win a title."
Yeah. See, I would say the face of college football is Kirk Herbstreit.
I would agree with that.
I know you're driving towards a coach, but the face of college football, the people that, or the person that I think the mass audience turns to, I wonder what he thinks. I think it's Kirk
Herbstreit. I agree with that. Just like for better or worse, Paul Feinbaum's the face of the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he is, and it's that's the power, and that's why I say if you're a championship coach, ESPN will make you cool. I mean, they will, because it's to their benefit to do so. They've done it with Feinbaum. They've done it with Saban. They do it with every other person who they decide is going to be the one that they put front and center. But in terms of coaches, as long as Kirby Smart continues to dominate, Kirby Smart's going to be the face of college football.
He's going to be made cool.
Yeah, Paul Feinbaum isn't naturally
cool?
No.
I mean, respectfully, he'd probably tell you the same thing. You know, a lot of people would say he's a dorky guy. You know, and the truth is, he kind of is. And look, none of us are particularly cool. I mean, I know you think you are, Ty, but none of us really are. But you know, again, if you're Kirby Smart, you win 3 or 4 of these things in a row, you're going to be the coolest guy out there. You'll be a 50-year-old hipster.
Yeah.
That's just how it works.
And of the 3 of us, you're the only one trying to be cool. So
I felt like that was just uncalled for at that point.
Well, I mean, it was just it didn't even need to be said. It was so obvious it didn't need to be said.
As soon as he started, I knew it was coming too. I was just waiting.
Because you know the truth. Deep down, you know the truth.
I was just waiting on
you're not cool.
the hit to this point.
I'm not saying, you know, that that doesn't play a role in signing players and building a program, but there's a lot of guys, you know, they're not trying to be cool cats on that practice field.
Got to be substance there at some point.
Yeah, I mean,
substance
you got to have the
winning.
whole package.
So if it's a combination of Kurt Herbstreit and Kirby Smart for football, who is it for basketball? Because basketball, I would think, would be more wide open. And I would say at this point right now, I know that Connecticut and Hurley just won the national championship. Bill Self and Kansas are always in the running, and Arkansas beat them last year. I'm guessing you point to Lawrence, Kansas, and Lexington, Kentucky with Cal and Self. Both of us had success. I don't know, he didn't technically beat Self because he had the heart, not murmur, but whatever it was. But that's where you probably go still for basketball, right? Or is it more about brands in basketball rather than coaches?
I think it's more about school brands, but I think Calipari is one of those faces currently in the game because he's just been around a long time. I mean, when we go back to what UMass, what year was that?
95, we'd won the national championship.
Right, but Arkansas played him in that preseason NIT.
Yeah,
94, whatever, maybe going into that. Yeah, whatever it was. But I mean, when's the last time you thought about college basketball and John Calipari wasn't part of the conversation? Whether it's Memphis, whether it's UMass, whether it's Kentucky. I mean, that, you know, other than the brief stint in the NBA, he's been a face. So I mean,
Billis has become, I think, the voice of college basketball, kind of like Herbstreit is for college football.
Mm-hmm.
I think Billis fills the same role for ESPN when it comes to college basketball. There's not been a guy that's dominated the game. You know, college basketball lends itself to parity. You've got a 68-team tournament. I mean, you've got schools like Florida Atlantic and San Diego State in the Final Four. You know, you would never, and I know some will disagree, but I don't think you're going to see those schools in the college football playoff. And so basketball lends itself to parity, and so it's probably harder to be a face, so to speak, than it is in football.
Coach K was the closest to Saban.
Yeah, no question. It was Coach K when he was active,
because he was so consistent from the late '80s till his retirement a couple of years ago. I mean, he was in a Final Four every few years. It seemed like he was there.
Well, and you know, John Wooden for many years.
Yes.
I mean, you know, John Wooden is to college basketball what Jerry West is to the NBA. I mean, he's the logo, so to speak. And so right now, I don't know that there's that kind of personality in college basketball. But I don't know that with, you know, all the movement now and the way the game's changed, I don't know that it lends itself to that kind of guy anymore.
And you don't do that overnight. You do that over a series of years and consistently winning and being in the biggest games that matter.
Well, those guys worked for schools, too, that didn't fire them when they had a bad year.
Yeah.
And all of them did. All those guys had a bad year or two. They were fortunate in that they didn't get fired. And now you have a bad year or two, you're going to get fired. That's just the way it works, even in basketball now. You know, the coaches don't have that luxury anymore, and all those guys benefited from that. I mean, Coach K, all of them, they all had bad years here and there.
Mm-hmm. That's what goes along with the money. When you pay someone $4, $5, $6 million, you know, you're expected to return that investment with wins.
See, I would,
championships.
And the Cal aspect is interesting because he's got one at Kentucky. He's been to Final Four, been to another national championship, but it hasn't, because of the way basketball in the tournament is structured, he hasn't had one. But you do have one of your blue bloods coming in. You do have one of the premier coaches in college basketball with so many retiring at this point, which, again, there's so many angles you can look at this game tomorrow at 5 o'clock game day. You mentioned one of the faces of college basketball that are coming in. I hope that what you've said the last couple days is correct, that if they're going to play a good game, it is tomorrow. I don't know how.
I said if. I didn't say they were. I said if they've got a good game in them. And I don't know that they do. But if they do, I'll bet we see it tomorrow.
Yeah, and here's Muss just talking about how you get guys excited. And at this point of the season, there's really no reason not to be.
You know, you want senior leadership. You want guys to embrace. But we want all our guys. I mean, I want our freshmen excited. We want our seniors excited. We want everybody excited. We don't have that many games left, although we still have a lot left in conference play. And we got to try to figure out a way to get better.
So we saw some grit and toughness in the Purdue and Duke games. And I went back to that 2020 team. I was just kind of looking because I know they didn't have a great year. But I went back to some of the losses they had. And it was like, he had multiple overtime losses, like the one to Auburn. You had a 2-point loss to South Carolina, 7-point loss to Kentucky. This team here that you have right now is more talented. There's no question about that. I know that team had Isaiah Joe, who was having an incredible season right now in the NBA, and Mason Jones. But I still think top to bottom, this team is more talented. They just aren't showing the same toughness that we've seen to this point of the season. And I wonder, like, if it's there at all, or if they're never going to showcase it at any point this year, because that was asked. That team, at least, again, that was not the most talented team. Adriel Bailey was playing center at 6'6", but they had at least the toughness aspect in year one that Muss needed to get this thing going. This team is more talented, but I'm wondering if you can somehow unlock that next level of the toughness aspect that you need to get in conference play that's helped this team the last 3 years.
I don't know. I mean, that's a simple answer to a long question, but I don't know. We've not seen evidence so far that the answer is yes.
Yeah, I don't think you just flip the switch and become a tough guy. I just don't think that we're going to see this dynamic change because you're a third of the way through and this will become a different team. Do I think they will win some games? Do I think they will surprise us perhaps tomorrow or somewhere along the way? A game you think, well, I'm not even going to make an appointment with myself to watch that game because I don't think they can hold their own in a road game. They're going to surprise us a few times along the way, just like we've been surprised in some of the losses and how big the margin's been so far this way. So, I don't think this team is done by any stretch, but I don't think they just become a tough team overnight.
I think that, sometimes when a team struggles, particularly those who work in the media, everyone tries to pinpoint the reason they're struggling. I'm going to be the one that explains to everybody why they are struggling. Well, for the last week or two, toughness has been what everybody's kind of gravitated around. Muss used the term a time or two, and all of a sudden the narrative becomes, well, this team's not tough. This team's got a lot of issues beyond toughness. This is, at the end of the day, a lot of this is about execution. Poor ball movement on the offensive end is not because they're not tough. Letting a guy drive around you is not because you're not tough. Not closing out on a three-point shooter doesn't make you a weakling. So I realize that there's that toughness and the grit and all that stuff. And it is important. It is very important. You don't win without it. But there are so many things right now that have to be corrected that toughness is part of it. But again, and that's the frustrating part about losing is if you want to go to a reason, if you want to try to be the one that comes up with the reason, I mean, there's fertile ground every week. Fertile ground. This is part of it. Yes, it is. Mm-hmm. I don't know that that's the overriding issue, but when you're 1-5 in conference play, I think it'd be fair to say there are probably several overriding issues. Baxter Health. If you're in north central Arkansas, if you're in south central Missouri, you know the name. It's your health system. It's been there for years. It's where you go when you're sick. It's where you go when someone in your family has a problem. And the great thing about Baxter Health is they serve their areas with world-class health care. Now, they've got a health care facility, and a big one, over 250 beds. But what they've got, and I think this is so important, is they've got over 40 locations out there that are care clinics. They give you an opportunity to get well. They give you an opportunity to see the doctor, as simple as that sounds, in an area that's convenient to you. And that's what they offer at Baxter Health. Now, it is world-class care. It is a state-of-the-art healthcare system. And we're so fortunate to have it right in our own backyard in an area where a lot of people really, really need the service. It's also a great place to work. You know, if you're an LPN, by the way, or if you're an RN, they've been recognized as a best place to work in healthcare by Modern Healthcare Magazine. They've been rated one of the best places to work in Arkansas by Arkansas Business. And they've been voted a top 100 rural and community hospital by several of the services out there. So we are lucky to have them. And if you'd like more information, you can log on to baxterhealth.org.
Well, I do know two guys that are going to be there in Bud Walton Arena tomorrow. Bob Holt will be covering the team and kind of got an invite from Dave Van Horn yesterday to kind of sit with him.
You going to the basketball game Saturday?
I'm not sure yet. Why, you want to sit with me?
You have a better seat than I do, I'm sure.
I don't, but I don't think so.
Maybe
now, I get some good seats, but they're not mine. So I have to make a call or, I have to work on it a little bit.
I think Dave could find a connection or two. I love the video of Dave Van Horn when Cal got tossed a couple years ago. Dave's waving goodbye. See you later. That's one of my favorites.
Well, he's been on both
I think that's what Dave thought Bob was going to be driving at during that line of questioning. And I sort of sensed in Dave's voice he was ready to not talk about that.
He was the one guy that could say, hey, I have been taught. I mean, he knew exactly what Cal was going through because he's been there before as a coach.
I've seen guys wave at Dave when he was headed to the showers.
Yeah. So,
I remember
part of it.
He doesn't get tosses. Chuck, you made the point before that with replay, coaches don't.
Replays ruined it all. You never see a good argument anymore.
No one's kicking up dirt.
I remember the craziest moment that happened, I guess, last year was when Brad Bolding, the Alabama head coach, called the Hogs as he got ejected. The Alabama head coach and got after he got tossed. That really irritated him. Or Bohannon, and he
the gambler.
And he. And what do you know? He gets fired for illegal gambling and whatnot. So I guess that's karma for doing that at that point.
Hey, we got our Fitzman Friday picks coming up. I want to spend a minute here to tell you about Gaston's White River Resort. Restaurant's going to be opening a week from today. You can start making reservations at 870-431-5202. They're going to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week as they kind of rejuvenate and restart the season. January is always a month where they rehab and clean and kind of get everything ready to go for the coming 11 months, and that's exactly what's going on right now at Gaston's. And a week from today, the restaurant reopens. 870-431-5202 is their number. Call and make your breakfast, lunch, or dinner reservations anytime at Gaston's White River Resort. And by the way, it's reservation only. February is a big fishing month. Ask about winter rates when you call. Save money on lodging right now at Gaston's White River Resort. 870-431-5202. Gaston's, a first-class time every time.
ESPN bracketologist Joe Lenardi here with my favorite number one seed, the Morning Rush.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the...
Video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-69.
Year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Get ready for a new year of work with limited time savings on Bobcat equipment at Bobcat of Northwest Arkansas and Rogers. Get as low as 0% for 72 months on a Bobcat compact tractor, or choose a free front-end loader when you buy with cash. Special offers are also available on Bobcat zero-turn mowers with financing as low as 0% for 48 months, or rebates up to $900 on select models. Call Bobcat of Northwest Arkansas or come by to get these great deals. Hurry, these offers end March 31st. Some exclusions apply.
Tommy Kraft here for The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building your next fence. The Fence Man recently built new gates for my existing fence. The whole process was easy, quick, and most importantly, affordable. Plus, 18 months same as cash financing with approved credit is now available with The Fence Man. If you need a new fence, gate, or anything that involves a fence, call The Fence Man, 479-782-3936. That's 782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
This is the Morning Rush.
This is the game that they are saying national championship. And we're floating in a sea of red.
Hey, it's Ty Richardson for Papa's Pub and Pizzeria. I want to talk about their pizza today. The Goob Special with extra pepperoni and rib rub on top. The Parm Special with double mushroom and jalapenos. Don't forget about the bacon cheeseburger and everyone's favorite, the old trash can. Swing on by Papa's Pub and Pizzeria at 508 Garrison Avenue in downtown Fort Smith. Or give them a call at 479-783-9941. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, the best darn pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Are you ready to work for one of the area's premier companies? If so, Forsgren wants to offer you a rewarding new career. Forsgren has been building the foundation of the River Valley for over 80 years. Forsgren is recruiting for experienced concrete finishers, equipment operators, truck drivers, and laborers. Forsgren is a destination point for men and women with a drive toward excellence. Join the Forsgren legacy. Apply now on any device, anywhere at goforsgren.com. That's goforsgren.com. Forsgren Incorporated is an equal opportunity employer.
Hi, I'm Mike Van Jr. with Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. You can count on my team to provide top quality pressure washing and exterior cleaning services for your property.
What all do you service?
Fence washing, gutter, or deep concrete cleaning for your home, commercial business, and more.
Do you have insurance?
Absolutely. We're covered with liability insurance, and we also use safe and effective wash methods, leaving your home or business looking brand new.
I guess I need to go to your website, mjmobilewash.com.
Or just give me a call at 479-763-5561.
Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. One call cleans it all.
Gelco Outdoors is ready to help keep you warm during the cold winter days. Keep warm in insulated bib overalls, jackets, coats, vests, socks, gloves, boots, and underwear. Warm up with great savings on the 50% off clearance racks of men's, women's, and children's casual wear. Gelco has a great selection of Little Buddy space heaters. Gelco Outdoors, your local store for cold winter gear. Be safe and stay warm from Gelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
Shop Meadows Lumber True Value for great bargains of the month. Pick up an Allergen Defense Furnace Filter from Filtrete for just $9.99. Stay toasty with a portable heater from Soleil for only $19.99. Keep your feathered friends fed and happy with a 10-pound bag of black oil sunflower seed or 20-pound bag of wild bird food for just $7.99. Choose from Bounty's select A-size paper towels or Charmin's Mega Roll Ultra Strong Bath Tissue for $9.99. Grab a Stanley Fat Max 25-foot tape measure for just $15.99. Get these bargains of the month while supplies last. Meadows Lumber True Value.
Do you need an attorney that you can actually speak with? You need Hickey & Hull Law Partners. The attorneys at Hickey & Hull understand the importance of client communication and are taking the time to meet you, respond to emails, and return calls. Every case is important, and they strive to give each one the time and attention it deserves. Call today, 479-434-2414, or visit them online at kevinhickeylaw.com. Hickey & Hull Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
Drive a compact SUV that has more style, power, and technology with the 2023 Buick Envision at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Right now, get up to $2,500 in total savings on a new Buick Envision and financing as low as 1.9%. The 2023 Buick Envision. It's all about you and designed to inspire. Experience the new Buick at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Arkansas football. It's the players running through the A. Hog hats. It's more than 70,000 fans calling Woo Pig Suey.
Yes, sir.
Guys, I've got just one thing I want to say to you. Touchdown, Arkansas!
Arkansas wins the national championship! The Arkansas Razorbacks have completed the dream season!
This is your Hog Update on the Morning Rush. Brought to you by Mr. Sparky. Need a licensed electrician to service your home? For one of their local pros, call 888-8-SPARKY.
All right, so the Arkansas Razorback women's basketball team absolutely thrashed Kentucky last night, 88-61. Guys, I hope a little bit of that last night's victory rubs off on the men's basketball team. I was talking to Phil a little bit. Arkansas women's basketball had a few ladies out last night, and yet doesn't sound like they needed them in a home victory for the Hogs.
No, that was a good win, and they've kind of had an up-and-down conference season so far. But I was talking to Phil yesterday. He said, just what you were saying, they were having trouble just filling out the roster. He said he wasn't sure who was going to play in some of the games just because of the injuries the women's team has had as well.
So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Game 5 o'clock, 4:30 airtime beginning here on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com with Chuck and Z. College Game Day is free to the public. Just a reminder, you can park in lot 56. Doors open at 9. Show starts at 10. You do not have to have a ticket, again, if you want to just go to College Game Day tomorrow.
And Hog Reaction following the game. You, Zach, and Matt Jones following the game with all the reaction following Arkansas, Kentucky, right here on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Yep. Last thing here.
And if people want to go to that, they can
stop by the studio.
You can do College Game Day on ESPN in the morning, the game, and then Hog Reaction post-game.
Yep, we'll do it all. All right, last thing here in your Hog Update. Ricky Council looked pretty good, and he played some extended minutes in NBA action, had 11 points, 1 rebound, knocked down a three-pointer, and hit 50% of his shots last night. Philly's got a guy that maybe they didn't expect much out of, but may amount to something at the next level. 6'6", can jump out of the gym. I know there's a lot of that, but Ricky had some great games for Arkansas last year, and guys hoping he can really extend into that some NBA stuff as well.
Just hope he can stick. He's playing for a good team. That's a playoff team. They've got Joel Embiid among others, and Ricky Council is he's living his dream right now. And whether it's with the Sixers, whether it's with anybody else, I don't know that Ricky Council is ever going to be an all-star per se, but you can still fashion a very good career and build a very, very good life if you can just stick for a while, and I hope he's able to do that.
Yeah, a second contract sets you up for life in the NBA.
Well, and you've got to you got to stick with somebody, and being in the right place is really important. And I hope it's a good situation for him there. I don't know a lot about it, but I hope it is. Sounds like it is.
Yeah, I'm hoping he can take something from there, whether it's in Philly or anywhere else. And one more thing, again, Arkansas Razorbacks in action this weekend in the NFC Championship. Dan Campbell can't say enough good things about Frank Ragnow.
Frank's a stud. That's what he does, and he's willing to lay it on the line, and he's not going to miss it. He's gonna we talk about all the time, but it's like, man, you may not be 100%, but if you feel like you can produce, you can win at 80% of yourself, and that's what Frank does. He believes he can, and he trusts himself, and he trusts those guys next to him, and it's just there's nothing easy about that. Not everybody can do it, and that's okay, but he can.
Again, I know that Detroit has some talented players. Goff's playing better as a starting quarterback. You've got Amaron St. Brown and others, Jameer Gibbs, but Frank's is a bigger part of that team as any at this point. All right, that's going to do it for your Hog Update this morning. It is brought to you by our friends at Mr. Sparky.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
All right, Sean is not with us this morning, but we're still going to do our Fence Man Friday picks centered around a lot of, again, NFL action this weekend, Conference Championship weekend. So let's go ahead and get into it here on a Fence Man Friday.
Fenceman Friday Picks. Call the Fenceman for all kinds of fences, controlled access, and custom iron projects. 479-782-3936. The Fenceman. We ain't afraid of no work.
All right, so one of the cool props you'll find right now on the Bet Saracen app is if Dre Greenlaw has 10 or more tackles this weekend, guys. Dre, of course, picked off 2 passes last week against Jordan Love, sealing the victory for the San Francisco 49ers. Tommy, I'll start with you. Does Dre Greenlaw have 10 or more tackles against the Lions this weekend?
10's a lot. I'm going to go under.
Under? Yeah, as good as Dre's played, I'm going to say he's got Warner. He's got some other talented defensive players. They're going to take some up. Chuck, I'm going to go under as well.
Well, if you guys are going under, I'm going over.
There you go. Smart play.
On the other side, Frank Ragnow, again, the catalyst for that offensive line. Behind Ragnow, guys, do the Lions have 2 or more rushing touchdowns against the Niners this weekend, Tommy?
Two or more? We'll make sure. Yes, they have 2 or more.
I'm going to say Jahmyr Gibbs punches it in twice this weekend, Chuck. So, yeah, I think they have 2 or more.
2 or more rushing touchdowns.
Rushing touchdowns against that San Francisco D on the road.
I'm going to say less than 2 rushing touchdowns.
Less than 2 rushing touchdowns. All right. Between Patrick Mahomes, Jared Goff, why am I blanking on the other quarterbacks? Lamar Jackson and Brock Purdy. Guys, which one throws an interception this weekend, Tommy?
Purdy.
That's who I'm going with as well. Purdy's been, again, a different quarterback at times in the playoffs. Chuck, I think he throws another one interception this weekend like Tommy as well.
I think all of them could. I mean, you got to pick one that's going to throw a pick.
You can pick one or multiple.
I'm going to say all of them throw an interception.
All of them throw an interception this weekend. Yeah. All right, as far as the betting line goes, guys, Ravens are a 3.5-point favorite at home against the Kansas City Chiefs. Tommy, I think Kansas City's going to win this game outright. I've got the Chiefs covering and winning on Sunday.
Touchdown, Kansas City.
What do you think, Chuck? Does Mitch Holthus move on to the Super Bowl as the play-by-play guy, or does he go home early and plan a little vacation time?
I'm going to go with Baltimore. They're going to win the game.
All right, last one. The San Francisco 49ers are 7-point favorites at home against Detroit. I think Detroit covers, but I think that the 49ers move on to the Super Bowl.
Lions win the game. Lions obviously cover if they win the game.
It's the underdog story at this point. That'd be nice to see. Chuck, what happens in the latter game at 5:30 on Fox?
I don't know if Detroit wins it, but I'll bet it's close. I'm gonna go with the Lions in the 7.
Who do you want to see in the Super Bowl at this point? I would say I would rather see the Lions and Ravens, but I think it's going to be the 49ers and Chiefs that meet there in 2 weeks.
You know, honestly, I'll watch the game Sunday. I don't have a rooting interest for any of these teams. I'll watch the games, and as the games develop, I'll figure out who I'm rooting for.
I'm rooting for the Lions and the Chiefs. That's who I want to see. That's the teams I'm riding with this weekend. All right, that's your Fence Man Friday picks, brought to you by the Fence Man. Sean will be back with us next week. They're at the Fence Tech show in Nashville this week and learning the latest innovations in fencing technology, and a lot of that's electronics based with automatic entry and controlled access and those kind of things. So if you're looking for a company that knows all the latest tricks and knows all the latest electronics when it comes to controlled access, the Fence Man's it. 782-3936 is their number. 479-782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
All right, we're going to talk to Sean Smith coming up. He covers the Kentucky Wildcats basketball team. We'll do that in Hour 3.
Join ESPN Arkansas in the Morning Rush in supporting Arkansas Children's Northwest all month long. We will be raising money to help Arkansas Children's Northwest fulfill its promise of making children better today and healthier tomorrow. You can donate now through February 2nd online at hitthatline.com. Be sure to click on the Morning Rush fundraising link brought to you by Honda of Fayetteville. Buy or lease your dream vehicle today. View online at hondaoffayetteville.com or stop by their showroom inside Fayetteville Auto Park.
Tommy Kraft for the Fence Man. If you've always wanted powered automatic gates at your home or business, but you didn't know who to call, let me tell you about the Fence Man. 479-782-3936. The Fence Man does it all. Custom wrought iron installations, automatic gates, even controlled access systems, and lots more. Ask about 18-month, same as cash financing with approved credit. For your custom fence and gate needs, call the Fence Man. 479-782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
This is Bruce Stanton, Vice President and General Manager of Pradco Fishing in Fort Smith. Our #1 volume lure out of our 20 fishing brands is the Bobby Garland Baby Shad. We make them by the millions in our facility in Fort Smith, And the Baby Shad is without a doubt the #1 soft plastic crappie lure in the U.S. Fish it on a light jig head or underneath a float, and you'll find it's as productive as live bait. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Bobby Garland Baby Shad.
Semaglutide and Teraziptide is a weight loss game changer. This is what the medical community is saying about the latest FDA-approved weight loss medication. Vici Aesthetics and Wellness is offering a detailed program to all of Arkansas and Missouri, in office or telemedicine visits available. To schedule your medical consultation and get started on the #1 prescription choice by medical providers for safe and effective weight loss, call or text 479-343-8424. 479-343-8424.
This is The Morning Rush. Dozy Place has now been serving award-winning steaks for over 20 years. Celebrate your special birthday, holiday, person, or just because at Dozy Place. Start with delicious appetizers and your choice of drinks from the largest selection of wines, beer, and liquor in the River Valley. Dozy Place is open Tuesday through Thursday 5 till 9 and Friday and Saturday 5 till 10. Reservations are recommended, so call 784-9111. 784-9111 for Dozy Place. 422 North 3rd Street, Fort Smith.
Hi folks, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center with exciting news for the new year. Introducing Road Ready Certified used cars, inspected and certified with a comprehensive warranty. You simply can't buy a better used car. Road Ready Certified, only available at Rath Auto Resources. Another reason why all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
Patriot Transport wants to thank their drivers for their hard work and dedication. The local and over-the-road drivers are essential to the Patriot Transport mission. Day in and day out, Patriot Transport drivers are on the road striving for safety and success. To the behind-the-scenes dispatch and office employees, Patriot Transport thanks them as well for the hard work they put in day and night. If you want to be a part of the Patriot Transport family, visit patriottransport.com. Patriot Transport is located in Danville, Arkansas.
The Golf Nut has a great selection of Arkansas hoodies and in-game shirts from Nike. The Golf Nut also has the best selection of clubs like Callaway Paradigm, TaylorMade Stealth 2, and Peen G430, along with a wide assortment of shoes, apparel, and golf bags. Needing help with your game? Call Matt Brooks and schedule a lesson on the simulator at 646-4430. Matt has over 10 years in the golf industry. The Golf Nut, 5121 Towson Avenue in Fort Smith, your #1 golf shop since 1994.
Tired of constant computer issues at work? And who knows what the real problem is? Is it the router? No, it's the hardware. Wait, they said it was the software. Call Hashtag Managed IT Services. Their multifaceted approach to IT support guarantees that everything is working at optimum performance. And Hashtag prevents the small problems from becoming big issues. Hashtag Managed IT Services in Van Buren. 479-802-4978. That's 479-802-4978. Hashtag Technology without the headache.
If you knew all that Jody's Auto Service Centers can do for your vehicle and you'd never take your vehicle anywhere else.
My fleet is small, 14 trucks and cars. It's a struggle every day with parts, employees, and scheduling, but one thing I never worry about is vehicles. Jody's has special fleet pricing, special in and out service, or free shuttle and pickup and delivery service. And they do everything: service, repair, and maintenance. That makes my life much easier. All my vehicles go to Jody's.
Latest technology and highly trained technicians means we could do it all. From the most highly technical repairs to everyday oil change specials, tires, everything, even diesels. Jody'sAuto.com. Schedule free shuttle service or pickup and delivery. Get a tire quote, get financing. Jody's Auto Service Centers, voted best of the best by our customers year after year. We're your neighbors since 1984 with 3 full-service locations in Fort Smith and Van Buren. See for yourself at JODYSauto.com.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, we will see more clouds and sunshine. Our high temperatures this afternoon, low 50s north, low 40s south. Cloudy skies, possibly seeing a shower or two overnight. We drop down into the low 40s north, upper 50s south, and then showers will be with us as we head through Saturday. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by In Good Spirits, Fort Smith's premier source for fine wines, specialty beers, and liquor.
You're listening to The Morning Rush, live from the Bushlight Studios on ESPN 95.3, KERX Paris, Fort Smith.
three-pointer on the way. No good. Qualls with the dunk at the buzzer. It goes and Arkansas wins.
Kentucky will play it out. Shepard looked to the bench. He'll drive, and it's taken away by Arkansas.
And it may be a technical foul on John Calipari.
Hits him on her team. Get him away.
He's got it.
Kentucky is walking off the court with 4.4 seconds to go and heading to the locker room.
Hey, this is Darren McFadden. You're listening to The Morning Rush.
Live from the Busch Light Studios. Heard all across ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
Hit that line.
This is The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
You're in need of a serious attitude adjustment, young man. You better get your priorities straight.
Produced by Christian Johnston.
In spite of the juvenile snickers of some, this is a serious matter.
Call or text The Morning Rush on the McClarty-Daniel hotline. With 6 locations in Springdale and Bentonville, a good deal is never too far away.
You don't need to wear a ball cap, man. You need to let those golden locks flow.
Yes, sir.
All right, it's a college game day in town for the first time ever, featuring the rivals of Arkansas and Kentucky. We're going to talk to Sean Smith coming up shortly. He covers the Kentucky Wildcats in Lexington, has a good understanding of that basketball program and what they're bringing into Fayetteville tomorrow. We'll do that coming up on the McClarty-Daniel hotline.
Brought to you by APAC Arcola. They have immediate openings in Boone, Marion, Baxter, Benton, Washington counties, and other areas. If you're a licensed CDL driver, heavy equipment operator, concrete finisher, maybe you're a diesel mechanic, or you have paving or concrete labor experience, you can apply at jobs.crh.com. APAC Arcola offers top pay, a sign-on bonus, benefits that include insurance, retirement, and profit sharing as well. Again, apply online. That's jobs.crh.com. Jobs.crh.com. APAC Arcola is an equal opportunity employer.
This hour of Chuck Barrett on The Morning Rush is presented by McClarty Daniel. McClarty Daniel has a vehicle to fit both your style and budget. With 6 locations in Springdale and Bentonville, you're never too far from a good deal. Visit McClartyDaniel.com to find your next ride.
And we welcome in Sean Smith again, GoBigBlueCountry.com. Sean, this is the first time ever that Arkansas has hosted the basketball version of College Game Day. I know it's happened in Lexington a few times. What is the benefit for Eric Musselman and his basketball program tomorrow with just all the car wash type of stuff that's going on ESPN?
I think it just adds some juice. It adds juice to a building that doesn't really need juice, but to me, when you have that crew coming in, you got the national spotlight on your program for a morning and for a day. You got Kentucky coming to town. I think it just makes for some extra juice around the program just to have some excitement. Look, this is a must-win game for Arkansas, and it adds to it.
Sean, you think about Kentucky. Offensively, they're one of the best, if not the best, in the country. Defensively, though, they've given up, I think, 77 or more points in every conference game this season. Is that the biggest weakness of this basketball team?
It is, and honestly, I think it's more tied to discipline than it is anything else. But this has been a trend with Cal for the last 4 or 5 years. They've not defended at a clip that they did early in his time in Lexington, and a lot of that, I think, is you see this transition to more playing in space. You see more three-point shots taken. I think maybe the playing style that a lot of people talked about offensively that Cal was holding back from, it's also kind of hurt some things on the defensive end as well, and I think that they've struggled to guard some of that similar action. But this is a team last year that didn't defend well. They didn't defend well the year before that. Like, this has been an ongoing trend, but this year I tie it more to just lack of discipline, breakdowns with some of these young guys. I've talked about it a lot this last couple of days, especially since the loss to South Carolina. They'll be solid at 4 spots, and then one guy will kind of go rogue and do his own thing, and then it puts them in a bind. And this is a team that doesn't rotate well on the defensive end of the floor. I think those things will improve, but will they improve enough for this team to actually live up and do something in the NCAA tournament? That remains to be seen.
Antonio Reeves has had a great year, leading scorer right now for Kentucky, averaging nearly 20 points a ball game, also making almost 90% of his free throws. Give us some more insight on the kind of season he's had and what's really made him the kind of the heart and soul of the offense so far for the Wildcats.
Well, it was no secret back in the summer. There was a lot of talk that he didn't really see a fit on this roster. And honestly, a lot of it was because you got 5-star freshmen coming in, and Rob Dillingham, DJ Wagner, and obviously Reed Shepard, and we know what he's been doing. But I just didn't understand that logic and thought, because I thought it made a lot more sense for him to be on this team than it did last year's team because of the spacing and the things that we're seeing Kentucky do at the 4 and the 5. You got a guy in Antonio Reeves that is in his 5th year of college basketball that is having a career year in every statistical category of his game. You don't see that much in college basketball. The older guys in college basketball, they're usually there for a reason, right? Like, if you're not one and done or out after the 2nd year, you're usually a senior or junior for a reason, and it's something to do with you're not able to get to the league or make that jump. I'm seeing a guy now that is becoming a more lethal scorer from all 3 areas. And we knew what he did at Arkansas a year ago, but his game is more complete now. He's averaging career highs, doubled his rebounding average this season, becoming a better defender. But I also think that he understands how to score the ball more efficiently now than he ever has in his career, which is pretty impressive for a 5th-year guy.
Kentucky lost in overtime 2 weeks ago to A&M, bounced back the next game with Mississippi State and a win 90-77 at home. A loss to South Carolina earlier this week that I think surprised some, but if you played close attention in the league, South Carolina is a good ball club. That was 79-62 the final. How do you think Kentucky rebounds on the road at Arkansas tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm sure that's probably the one thing Eric Musselman didn't want to happen, was Kentucky go to South Carolina and lose the way that they did, because you know you're going to get a hungry group coming into Bud Walton Arena, and you're going to have to be hungry. And to me, the more desperate team wins. And when you get down to this point in the season, it's all desperation. You've got Arkansas. You've got these teams that maybe have struggled their way to this point that are looking for a quad 1 win. On the other side of that, you're Kentucky. You just got drilled at South Carolina. People now questioning whether you're a fraud or not. Are you actually truly a NCAA championship contender? You got to be more desperate than Arkansas. And I think the more desperate team Saturday wins. The one that it's not as much who plays the hardest, but who's the most desperate and can lock in and get those 2 or 3 stops in a row when it's needed in the second half. I do think this is going to be a tighter game. I know Arkansas has struggled. I know they just coming off a blowout loss. I do think this is going to be a tighter game, because I think that this is going to be all hands on deck for Eric Musselman in Arkansas Saturday at Bud Walton.
Talking with Sean Smith on the McLaurin Daniel Hotline, covers Kentucky basketball in Lexington. Sean, you bring up Reed Shepard, whose dad, Jeff, played in the 90s. What is that connection? What has that legacy been like for Kentucky fans, a name that Arkansas fans are familiar with?
Well, it's been one that you knew when he got here, regardless of how he looked, the fans were going to be screaming his name for him to enter the game and everything. And he's been better than advertised. And he played his high school basketball in a part of the state where I grew up, the same region that I played in when I was in high school. So I was very familiar with his game. And that part of the state doesn't produce Division I talent in basketball very often. And when it does, the whole community follows it. Well, you just go ahead and multiply that times 10, because this whole state follows it. So to be as good as he's been and to impact the game in so many areas in his basketball IQ, I think that he's better. I grew up watching Jeff. I think that he's a better overall player than what Jeff was at this stage in his career. But you put that with Kentucky basketball and his dad being a Final Four MVP, Reed on a team that everybody believes can make a run to the Final Four, and it's just added to even more excitement. I don't remember this type of buzz around one single player. I'm seeing more Reed Shepard number 15 jerseys than I am any other jersey when I cover these games at UK, or if I'm out in town or in the city somewhere. You can't really put it into words what it's meant for this fan base to really see a kid that they grew up following, but also a dad that was so successful in this program. And you see Jeff and his wife Stacy, they're sitting behind the bench every game. They're into it. They're cheering for everybody. It's been a joy to kind of sit back and watch. And look, I mean, that kid's popping up as top 10 NBA draft picks on certain boards, and I don't think any of us saw that coming.
Sean, correct me if I'm wrong, he's still coming off the bench at points, and I know Cal, like Muss, is trying to figure out their rotation based on just kind of what's going on. When you look at those 2 head coaches as they're a third of the way through conference play, are you surprised that, and I know Big C getting out of the mix kind of changes in Lexington, are you surprised that both coaches are still trying to figure it out to this point?
I am. I'm surprised on both ends, honestly. And I know Musselman's a different situation. I mean, he loads up on the transfer portal, and sometimes that works out, sometimes it doesn't. We've actually seen that with Cal and Kentucky the last couple of years, where you go all in on the portal, not as much high school recruiting, and it didn't pay off in the NCAA tournament. You had a generational talent in Oscar Shibwe win one NCAA tournament game. So, like, it doesn't always work. And I think coaches now are trying to find that blend when it comes to roster construction of what is best. And I think it's different year to year. But with Kentucky, you got Rob and Reed both coming off the bench, and they're projected to be two of Kentucky's highest draft picks. I don't know if that's going to continue as you get into February or March. Justin Edwards continues to start, but is not very efficient, not really productive. I think that's going to change at some point coming soon. You just added Big Z to the mix. Kentucky ran a ton of different lineup combinations in South Carolina, and none of them were on the floor longer than a few seconds, a minute or two. And I think that threw some of the rhythm off. When you get a 7-footer added to the mix in late January, you just added another 7-footer a couple of weeks ago. You got Aaron Bradshaw back in December. You get a Deuce Thiero back soon, possibly Saturday in Arkansas. Like, I think that Cal's finding a hard time, finding it difficult to kind of figure out where he wants to go with this team. And I know he's platooned in the past. That's not going to happen. Even that year he platooned guys, he ended up shrinking that thing down to 7 or 8 when it mattered in the NCAA tournament. And that's what's going to happen with this team now. With Musselman, I think it's just kind of figuring out what works best. And it's not gone as planned. I know there's been some injuries. They've not been at full strength at times. Trying to figure out what's best. I still think the best version of Arkansas will come as you get closer to that SEC tournament, but also think the best version of Kentucky's coming as well.
Hey, can you tell us the backstory, the inside story on Big Z and how he got eligible at this late point in the season?
Yeah, it's wild. Honestly, I don't think anybody expected it. Once it got to a certain point, there was some buzz there in mid-December going into the winter break that he was going to go home to Croatia and actually not return, just because it became such a mental grind of not being eligible. He comes here wanting to play. Eventually it was going to be prepare to get to the league and go enter the draft again. But he says that wasn't something that he considered, and he returned. And then Cal kind of turned up the heat in some press conferences. I know fans and stuff put a GoFundMe together to put a billboard outside the NCAA office so they would look at it. I don't know if that was just a coincidence or what, but just a couple of days later, Mitch Barnhart receives the email that he's eligible, and it was over. It wasn't over a large amount of money that it made. It was actually a very small amount of money, and Cal went public a couple of times saying that how frustrating it was that he wasn't eligible. But that came out of nowhere the morning they played Georgia, and if I'm Mike White, I wasn't expecting to see a 7'2" guy throwing behind the back passes or hitting threes on the scouting report that day. So at least Arkansas will have a couple of games of film and some scout and some game plan for him.
Well, Sean, we'll leave it there. We really appreciate you making some time for us this morning, and we'll see what happens tomorrow in Bud Walton Arena starting at 5 o'clock on ESPN.
I appreciate you having me on.
All right, good stuff. Again, Sean Smith on the McCarty Daniel hotline. And, again, Kentucky guy covers the team, but you heard him say that he expects a good game tomorrow. And I know that things are not going your way. They haven't for a good chunk of this season, but there is still some optimism, Chuck, even in Lexington circles, that this is not going to be an easy test for the Wildcats.
Kentucky played a lot of great games over the years, and I think, Sean's of the age, and some of us are, when we remember the great games of the 90s, when Jeff Shepard played, and some of the other guys too, and we've been nostalgic for that, and we went through a period where Arkansas and Kentucky really wasn't all that great. Kentucky leads the series 34-14. They've kind of been they've been in basketball what Texas used to be in football. You remember the great wins, and they are great. I mean, when you beat them, it's great. But they do tend to win most of the time. And so, you've certainly got to give them credit for that. But I think people want this to be a good game. I want it to be a good game. I remember when they played on Super Bowl Sunday. That's what particularly fans of that generation, our generation, I think, long for, and they're hopeful it'll be that way tomorrow. Kentucky's played better than Arkansas. I mean, there are a lot of reasons why Kentucky should win the game going away. The one that concerns me the most, quite honestly, I wish Kentucky had beaten South Carolina the other night.
Me too.
I know when you watch a game like that with a tendency to pull for the underdog or against Calipari. It's kind of fun to watch South Carolina run them out of the arena. I get that. But at the same time, I'm sitting there thinking, man, Kentucky's, they're in the middle of one of those 2-game road swings this week. Arkansas will have one next week. Where realistically, you think going into the week, it'd be nice to split this week. It'd be great to go 2-0. But, the best Kentucky can do now is a split. And I just wish they'd won that game. I'll put it that way.
Timing was poor.
Yeah.
No, right. That's exactly right.
And I remember I told Tommy that Wednesday morning, it was my What's Your Beef? It's like, why did South Carolina have to win last night? Which, again, Lamont Paris did a great job. But I think that you had similar circumstances, Chuck, back 4 years ago when that game Cal got tossed. If I remember right, they lost to South Carolina earlier in that week. So it was, again, it's still
and they won that game,
They
too.
did, yeah. Kentucky, as fun as Cal getting tossed was, they still won that game. So, again, it's going to be a tough matchup tomorrow. I will say you should, we were talking with Sean earlier, Kentucky defensively is bad. Like, they've got a lot of young players, a lot of new pieces, and I know they've got some size and they've got some height, like we were talking about with Big Z. But I looked at every conference game, they've given up 77 or more points. So, that they are not a complete team at this point yet. I know Arkansas has struggled offensively, but you're going to be able at points to score on this basketball team or have the opportunity to score. That's probably the better way to put it. It's a matter if you can take advantage of that.
Well, both teams have given up about the same number of points per game. The difference is Arkansas scored 76 and Kentucky scored 89. They're a really good offensive team, and so they've got the ability to score. They'll give up some points. But for every 2 they give up, they score 3.
And usually when you think about a Kentucky team, long, athletic, can get to the rim, this team can shoot it, man. I mean, if you've watched them at any point this season, he mentioned Dillingham, Wagner, Shepard's the kid. If you leave open, it's curtains. I mean, that ball's going in the bucket. That's what impresses me about this Kentucky team is usually it's just, again, the athleticism that outdoes you, but they can shoot you out of a gym as well, unfortunately.
Well, when you look at their numbers, their overall field goal percentage is just a hair under 50, and they're better than 40 from beyond the arc. So they got a lot of guys that can score. And we talked a little bit earlier about defending the 3. You better defend the shooter. You better identify the shooter, and you better defend the shooter in this game. And the thing about Kentucky is they got multiple guys. When you start there's 3 or 4 of them that have the ability to do that. Hey, you hear us every day talk about McLarty Daniel, whether it's the hotline, the text line. McLarty Daniel is our partner. And when you are looking for an automobile, they're really the kind of company that I think you want as your partner as well. When you're a McLarty Daniel customer, and those who are customers already know this, you're treated a little bit differently. You feel it when you walk in. They welcome you. They're glad to have you. They're going to offer you something to drink, maybe a snack. You're going to get a great deal on a great automobile. That's a given. But what really separates them is what happens after all of that. You're going to find that you are going to have an ongoing relationship. There are going to be things like Saturday service, which I don't know about you, but that's a big deal to me. And when your car's being serviced, things like complimentary rentals. These are what they have built their business on, frankly, is these kinds of things that set them apart with their customers. It is all about the customer experience at McLarty Daniel. Now, they've got 6 locations in Bentonville and Springdale. You can experience it for yourself in person. You can shop online at McLartyDaniel.com.
Really, hang on, really important the first 8 minutes of this game. You don't have to be ahead, but you can't be behind like you were the other night at Ole Miss. You got to take care of the basketball early. I think taking care of the ball and not having the turnovers is maybe the key to the first 8 minutes. But, Chuck, we saw the other night at Ole Miss, first 10 minutes of the game, it was pretty well over at that point. I mean, Ole Miss hadn't put it completely out of reach. Arkansas got back within 6, but never could get over the hump. I think it's really important you get the building energized the way it needs to be. But, guys, you got to protect that basketball and not give away possessions in the first 8-10 minutes of this game. I know that's a generalized statement, but that's what we've seen this team do 3 different times when they never held the lead for a moment in the ball game in SEC play.
One of the things that I thought demoralized Arkansas the other night, and it's demoralized them repeatedly this year is that I think when a guy gets to the rim, I think when a guy beats you off the dribble and just goes basically, unchallenged to the basket, whether it's a guard, big guy, whoever, goes in, lays it in, don't stop the ball. I think that demoralizes a team. I think that's whether you dunk or whether you just lay it up, that's a you can't stop me kind of play. And Ole Miss did that right from the jump.
Yeah.
The other night, literally right from the jump.
You're right.
And I think that you've got to send a message early on that we're here to play and we're going to challenge you. You may be bigger, you may have more All-Americans, whatever, but we're going to challenge you. You're not going to go to the rim. You're not going to get an easy shot. You're going to get fouled, and sometimes you're going to get fouled hard before we let you do that. Ideally, you stop them before they get there. But I think that's a real key early on is do you stop the ball? And, of course, on the other end, there's no substitute for making shots.
Yeah, Jordan rules, baby. No easy layups.
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I do think – look, the best way to send the message is to not let them dribble drive to the basket. That's the best way to send the message.
Yeah.
But I just don't think you can give up easy buckets from the jump the way they did the other night.
And we'll see if they are able to do that initially, Tommy. You're the getting going early and not turning the ball over. And it's these unforced turnovers have killed him. And, again, the inexplicable just blow-bys that Arkansas has given up several times this season. I want to talk some NFL when we come back. We've got 2 games this week in conference championships, but the NFL sent out a memo that I think it's important to discuss about gambling in Vegas in 2 weeks. We'll discuss that. Also want to discuss this Keyshawn Booty story coming up. Stay with us. It's the Morning Rush.
Arkansas's home for the best sports talk.
This is former Razorback Trey Wade, and you're listening to the Morning Rush.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
This is Bruce Stanton, Vice President and General Manager of Pradco Fishing in Fort Smith. Our #1 volume lure out of our 20 fishing brands is the Bobby Garland Baby Shad. We make them by the millions in our facility in Fort Smith, and the Baby Shad is without a doubt the #1 soft plastic crappie lure in the U.S. Fish it on a light jig head or underneath a float, and you'll find it's as productive as live bait. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Bobby Garland Baby Shad.
Semaglutide and Teraziptide is a weight loss game changer. This is what the medical community is saying about the latest FDA-approved weight loss medication. Vici Aesthetics and Wellness is offering a detailed program to all of Arkansas and Missouri, in-office or telemedicine visits available. To schedule your medical consultation and get started on the #1 prescription choice by medical providers for safe and effective weight loss, call or text 479-343-8424. 479-343-8424.
This is the Morning Rush.
Touchdown, Arkansas, 80 yards.
Hi, this is Arkansas Razorback Kobe Branham. During my football career, my family has always relied on National Family Pharmacy on Dodson Avenue in Fort Smith, and your family should too. National Family Pharmacy is open 7 days a week, accepts most insurance plans and Medicaid, and is always there to answer questions about your medications.
Tissues, throat lozenges, decongestant, Pepto, wet wipes.
National Family Pharmacy, 1615 Dodson Avenue in Fort Smith. Go Hogs.
This is a public service announcement for hard seltzer lovers. Neutral Vodka Seltzer has arrived. Made with simple ingredients like vodka, seltzer, and real juice. Neutral tastes good. Like real good. So good that you'll never want to drink another artificial tasting seltzer again. Neutral's light and refreshing taste will show you what a vodka seltzer can be. Try Neutral, the one with the umlaut. Copyright 2023 Neutral Distilled Spirit Specialty, Los Angeles, California. Enjoy responsibly.
Drive a compact SUV that has more style, power, and technology with the 2023 Buick Envision at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Right now, get up to $2,500 in total savings on a new Buick Envision and financing as low as 1.9%. The 2023 Buick Envision. It's all about you and designed to inspire. Experience the new Buick at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One has a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Do you need gutters but think they're too expensive or that you need to get the soffit or fascia ready? No worries. Call the Gutter Guy. He does it all. No need to call multiple companies to get the right gutters for your home. Call the Gutter Guy. Quality, low maintenance, leaf-free gutters with a 5-year warranty. The Gutter Guy also does vinyl siding and windows. The Gutter Guy. Over 30 years experience. Call 226-1259. Call the Gutter Guy.
Walk-Ons is always a win. Whether it's a post-game celebration, drinks with the crew, or an easy weeknight dinner, Walk-Ons has you covered. Scratch-made dishes, wall-to-wall TVs, craft beers and cocktails. Dig into mouth-watering menu items like po' boys, gumbo, and voodoo shrimp, plus fan favorites like juicy burgers and fresh salads. Find your nearest location in Rogers, Fayetteville, Fort Smith, Conway, and coming soon to Little Rock, or order online or in the app. Walk-On Sports Bistro for the win.
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family, from general dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Dr. Sparkman, Davis, and Farmer give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confident, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Now offering same-day crowns. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
It's time to vote for your favorite high school player of the week. ESPN Arkansas and Shamrock Roofing and Construction are recognizing the most outstanding high school student athletes. Visit hitthatline.com each week to vote for your favorite athlete of the week. The high school player of the week is brought to you by Shamrock Roofing and Construction. No one can install a better roof at a better price with a better warranty than Shamrock. Visit them at shamrockroofer.com. Visit the nominees each week at hitthatline.com. Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Y'all ready for this?
You're listening to The Morning Rush with Ty Richardson, Tommy Kraft, and Chuck Barrett.
I do think when you look at what's happening with the basketball program and people's disappointment over it, it is compounded by what happened in football. There's no question about that. They are separate entities, and frankly, I get irritated when people compare the two, as you probably gathered a time or two. There's 2/3 of the conference season remaining, and they're going to play those games. Every single one of them is going to be played. They're going to play at least once in the conference tournament. So you got a lot of ball games left.
We got a basketball game tomorrow. Football, I think it's like 214 days. So you play on August 31st in War Memorial Stadium. We'll obviously talk some more football as we get closer, spring ball and all that. But for now, we're going to talk to our friend Larry Rath of Rath Auto Resources here this morning. Here at the end of the month, your favorite time, Larry?
Oh, absolutely. And it really is a terrific time to get in and save. And today, I'm running the Mitsubishi store up in Springdale. This would be a great time to come in and take advantage of the old man. I don't even know what's going on down there, but I'm going to be running the show. I'm going to put some deals together, going to make it really easy for some people to buy some brand-new Mitsubishis or some really nice road-ready certified used cars, and we've got a good selection of those too. So, folks, make me look good. Come in today, buy something here at Rath Mitsubishi in Springdale, and make me look like a hero. I have a good time meeting you as well. So come on in and see us today. Rath Mitsubishi in Springdale for a terrific deal. 0% for 60 months on those new Outlanders. So up to $1,500 rebates as well. So we got some really fun things going on. Rath Auto Resources in Fort Smith, those guys, they got a big inventory, premium pre-owned cars and trucks, every one of them road-ready, certified. And that means you still get that hand-picked used car. You still run through our Meineke Car Care Center for a complete inspection and complete reconditioning. We fix anything we find wrong. We do the maintenance on them. And now they're covered by a 3-month, 3,000-mile comprehensive warranty as well. So Road Ready Certified really takes all the risk out of buying a used car you know you're getting a great price on a great car, and you know you're going to get great service after the sale in the Meineke Car Care Center. The Meineke Car Care Centers are, they're setting records every year. More and more people coming in and taking advantage of the service that they provide, tires, brakes, whatever you're needing, major repairs, we can take care of that too. Oil changes, anything you need on your car, we can take care of it in the Meineke Car Care Center and keep you rolling with Rath. So come and see us this weekend. Rath Auto Resources in Fort Smith, Rath Mitsubishi in Springdale. Check us out online, rathauto.com.
All right, that's Rath Auto Resources, Fort Smith, and in Springdale. Larry, enjoy the weekend, and we'll catch up next week.
Thanks, guys. Y'all have a good one. Folks, come see me.
So, Front Office Sports obtained this memo from the NFL that players on the Super Bowl teams, not next weekend, but the following weekend, will not be allowed to gamble at the casino, sports book, or whatever. They're just prohibited from that. The players that are not in the Super Bowl but play in the NFL are not allowed to bet in the sports book whatsoever at this point. Now, it's kind of a weird thing that you've got all these NFL teams, you've got colleges and all this other stuff partnering with different gambling websites or a lot, and yet the players are prohibited. I guess that's just kind of part of, like, you sign up to play football either the college or professional level, but I don't understand why you can't bet against, I guess because you might have inside knowledge of the games and stuff. That's what they're trying to prevent. I guess in that point.
Yeah, I mean, you've got friends on teams, you've got connections. I mean, you would have an edge. So I mean, you've got to uphold
think about that Alabama
the
baseball
integrity
thing.
of the game.
Think about that Alabama baseball thing. Kind of what happened. It's not unrealistic to tell a player, hey, if you're playing in the Super Bowl, you can't bet on the Super Bowl. I don't think there's anything unrealistic about that.
But what about gambling just in the casino and going to the slot machine and playing blackjack and stuff like that? That seemed odd to me that they won't even let the players.
It's always been that way. I mean, and that's one reason that the NFL has pushed back for years on having a team in Vegas, involving themselves with that. But I think they fully embraced it to a degree now. Obviously, they're drawing a line with players being allowed to go into sports books and gamble during the season. But I think the next big frontier for sports is how do they tap into a piece of the action with gaming? I don't know how they're going to do it, but that's the next big revenue stream, I think, is how do they get a piece of – they're making all this money gambling on the games themselves, and other than partnerships like through advertising and marketing, how does the professional sports and college sports entities grab a piece of the action that the casinos are making millions on?
Well, when you say it's always been that way, I get the sportsbook aspect, but it hadn't always been that way in terms of
no, I don't.
Gambling.
Players, you cannot gamble during the season. I mean that's been a long-standing rule. You can't go in. You cannot be into casinos during the season. That's been a rule. That has been a rule in the past.
Because, Ty, let's say you're a player and you're a gambler and you've had a really bad year. You've had a really bad year. You need to get even. You've lost, $1 million. You need to get even. All you got to do is drop a pass. Got an over-under on some rushing yards. All you got to do is step out of bounds. There's just a huge risk involved.
I know. I get that. I think y'all are misunderstanding what I'm saying. They can't gamble blackjack.
Right.
That stuff.
Correct.
Now, I'm not talking about sportsbook related, what you're bringing up, Chuck. I'm talking about that. I didn't know that's been a long-standing rule. I've never heard that to this point in time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, during the season. Now, what they're able to do in the NBA, there was a lot of press on that several years ago about, because players wanted some relief from that, and they didn't.
I don't know what the in-season rules are. I know that they've never had a Super Bowl in Vegas. And so, this is keeping them out of the casinos and the sports books and things like that. I mean, this is this part's a new deal because they've never had a Super Bowl in Vegas before.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I don't think that's unrealistic.
And the Final Four is going to be there in 2 years. I think it's 2026.
Yeah. Sports world is certainly changing. Hey, next week will be the 2024 Miracles of Magic Radiothon with Arkansas Children's Northwest. We're proud to be a part of it. We invite you to help us by going to hitthatline.com and click on Children's Fundraisers, whether it's $10, $20, $50. We had an anonymous, very grateful, gracious, generous listener donate $500 earlier this week. So anywhere in between, Arkansas Children's Northwest needs your help. And go to hitthatline.com, click on Children's Fundraiser, and click on the Morning Rush tab. It's brought to you by Honda of Fayetteville. Buy or lease your dream vehicle today and view the inventory online at HondaFayetteville.com.
All right, when we return, your SEC update, talking about gambling, I want to tell you about a story of Keyshawn Bode.
Arkansas's home for the best sports talk.
Hey, this is Montag Brown, the former Razorback, and you listen to the Morning Rush.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley Model Z, the latest innovation in luxury fifth wheels. And like always, every new RV comes with a lifetime warranty, so you can camp with confidence. So stop in and find out why Wheels has been voted best RV dealer year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Warm up with hot preseason savings on your choice of New Holland equipment right now at WT Equipment. Get 0% financing for 60 months or a free loader on compacts. Choose 0% financing or cash back on mid-range tractors and on select hay tools. Or get up to $40,000 cash back on a new T7. No matter the job, hurry into WT Equipment today and shop their huge selection of in-stock inventory. Now is the best time to get a truckload of savings on the trusted quality and efficient power of New Holland equipment. Offer ends March 31st. For commercial use only. Customer participation subject to credit qualification and CNH Industrial Capital LLC approval. Standard term, conditions, and other restrictions apply.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
This is the Morning Rush.
Somebody get him a plane ticket for New York City.
Shop Meadows Lumber True Value for great bargains of the month. Pick up an Allergen Defense Furnace Filter from Filtrete for just $9.99. Stay toasty with a portable heater from Soleil for only $19.99. Keep your feathered friends fed and happy with a 10-pound bag of black oil sunflower seed or 20-pound bag of wild bird food for just $7.99. Choose from Bounty's select A-size paper towels or Charmin's Mega Roll Ultra Strong Bath Tissue for $9.99. Grab a Stanley Fat Max 25-foot tape measure for just $15.99. Get these bargains of the month while supplies last. Meadows Lumber True Value.
If you knew all that Jody's Auto Service Centers can do for your vehicle and you'd never take your vehicle anywhere else.
My fleet is small, 14 trucks and cars. It's a struggle every day with parts, employees, and scheduling, but one thing I never worry about is vehicles. Jody's has special fleet pricing, special in and out service, or free shuttle and pickup and delivery service. And they do everything, service, repair, and maintenance. That makes my life much easier. All my vehicles go to Jody's.
Latest technology and highly trained technicians means we could do it all. From the most highly technical repairs to everyday oil change specials. Tires, everything, even diesels. Jody'sAuto.com. Schedule free shuttle service or pickup and delivery. Get a tire quote, get financing. Jody's Auto Service Centers, voted best of the best by our customers year after year. We're your neighbors since 1984 with 3 full-service locations in Fort Smith and Van Buren. See for yourself at JODYSAuto.com.
Subiaco in Scranton, if you made a resolution to get reliable internet for the new year, Wave Rural Connect can make that happen. The latest zone covering Subiaco in Scranton is now open. Make this New Year's resolution come true with internet, TV, and phone service from a local provider you can trust. Order online at signup.waveruralconnect.com or phone 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
1.9% financing for 72 months on America's #1 truck, the Ford F-150, right now at Harry Robinson's Salisal Ford. 1.9% for 72 months, and Harry Robinson has the selection you want in stock, including XLTs, Lariats, and Platinum F-150s. 1.9% for 72 months won't last long. Harry Robinson's Salisal Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Salisal.
Greatness doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, focus, and dedication. At Shelter Insurance, we understand that because we put in the hard work and dedication for decades. And that commitment is paid off with award-winning customer service for your auto, home, and life insurance.
Call Randy Milam in Alma or Brandon Zimmerman in Bartley.
If you are involved in a divorce or custody case, you want an attorney you can trust to guide you through the process. The attorneys at Hickey & Hole Law Partners have over 7 decades of combined experience. Hickey & Hole have seen and heard nearly every scenario you can imagine, ready to put that experience to work for you to get the best results. Visit kevinhickeylaw.com or give them a call today, 479-434-2414. Hickey & Hole Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
It's time to vote for your favorite high school player of the week. ESPN Arkansas and Shamrock Roofing and Construction are recognizing the most outstanding high school student athletes. Visit hitthatline.com each week to vote for your favorite athlete of the week. The high school player of the week is brought to you by Shamrock Roofing and Construction. No one can install a better roof at a better price with a better warranty than Shamrock. Visit them at shamrockroofer.com. Visit the nominees each week at hitthatline.com. Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Somebody said we've got SEC bias. Deal with it. They're the best.
In the SEC, it just means more.
I know one thing, the SEC just got a little tougher.
This is your SEC update on the Morning Rush.
We were just talking gambling a couple seconds ago, and there's this story that's coming out of, I guess, Baton Rouge, Foxborough. It's really a big college football story that former LSU wide receiver Kayshawn Boutte has been charged for illegal online gambling, according to WAFB in Baton Rouge. He placed nearly 9,000 bets on LSU football while he was in school. Some are on LSU, some are on other games. Did it for basically a year. For example, on September the 4th, game that he played against Florida State, he placed a wager on himself to score a touchdown and over 83 receiving yards. He had 20 receiving yards and no touchdowns. Therefore, Tommy, he did not win that game. He's bet a lot of money, over 600, actually over $700,000, it looks like. And looks like he lost. Tommy, he did not go net positive. Looks like he lost over $80,000 over the course of 2022 and 2023. Here's the kicker. So he set up 2 accounts in different names under Tanisha Boutte and Kayla Fortenberry. But the problem was both of his new usernames used his name, Kayshawn Boutte. He made his usernames, even though he set it up the account as another name, he made his username his actual name.
And all of these have to be linked back to a bank account, right? Or, I mean, I don't. Mm-hmm. At some point, you have to tie it back to something financially, which requires what? A social security number. I mean, in the end, I don't know the ins and outs of it. Maybe you can get somebody else and you pay the taxes for them or whatever, but you're not going to be able to escape this and get all of the winnings that you think you're going to get. Most of these guys, we worry about them throwing games, shaving points. But most of them like that bet on themselves. They go big on themselves.
Pete Rose.
They don't bet on themselves to lose. They bet big on themselves to win and do great things. That's the mindset. Mm-hmm. It's the mindset of a winner.
Yep.
Other than the gambling part.
Speaking of betting on himself, Tommy, Nick Dunlap, who you talked about, I didn't know what happened this past weekend, but the 20-year-old Alabama golf star is going to the tour. What sounds like.
Going to turn professional and remove his amateur status. He's already qualified because of winning U.S. Amateur and some other amateur titles. He's already in the field for the U.S. Open and obviously in the Masters and the majors, but would have qualified anyway with a win and put him in the Masters. So now he can collect the cash. He by being an amateur last week, he missed out on a little over $1.5 million in prize money he would have otherwise received. So he'll have big endorsement deals, and he'll be able to cash checks based on his performance on the tour now that he has turned pro.
All right, last thing here in your SEC update. The rest of the games tomorrow, Arkansas, Kentucky, the primetime matchup at 5. You got some other games as well. I guess LSU and Alabama at 7 on ESPN. Ole Miss against A&M, 7:30 on the SEC Network. That should be a decent game. Auburn against Mississippi State. Missouri at South Carolina, and Georgia against Florida. I guess the game that I'm probably most interested in after Arkansas and Kentucky is Ole Miss and Texas A&M. We'll see if Ole Miss can get their first big road victory of the year.
All right, that's your SEC update here on the Morning Rush. Time to head to the races now and get an update for a weekend of racing at Oaklawn. It's coming up. Lane Whitman joins us now. Find him on social media at the Railbird333. Lang, and our update, by the way, brought to you by Brothers Roofing and Restoration. Lang, last weekend, weather forced a stop in the racing. This weekend, we're back at it with some much better weather at Oaklawn.
Yeah, this is week 7 of racing at Oaklawn, but today is only day 15 of racing on the track. So it kind of feels like I haven't talked to y'all in a month, even though it's only been 2 weeks. And I kind of in my mind have a reset, though. I like the whole meet right now. With the horses not training for the last, until Wednesday, there was 11 days where they didn't train. Wet track coming today, probably tomorrow as well with the rain. It's kind of a reset in my mind.
All right, so just so the audience understands, we all are on the same page. When they miss these days due to weather, those aren't tacked on at the end or other days generally. Those are just lost days, correct?
I think they missed 3 days for weather and 1 day for the track was messed up. I think what they will probably do, they won't be making them up at the end. The end of the meet is Kentucky Derby Day. I believe it's May 4th or 5th this year.
Yeah.
So they're not going to add anything after that. What they might do, they already have Thursday racing all lined up in March, so they can't add. I don't think they're going to go back and add days for Wednesdays. What they might do is once the time changes and it's light later in the day, they might start adding a race to each card to get the total number of races up to what they missed.
All right. Well, let's talk about this Saturday. It's a huge day as far as stakes races go, and the Southwest Stakes, I think, is a name a lot of people recognize. A Grade 3 stakes race, $800,000 purse, mile and a 16th race, but it's one of 4 big stakes races coming up tomorrow.
What they've done, Tommy, is they've made a change. Oaklawn has made a change with the horses not training for all those days. They've backed the Southwest up to next weekend. They've changed the card of the stakes races from that was supposed to be tomorrow. They put those next weekend on February 3rd. They pushed forward the 5th season stakes from next weekend up until this Saturday. So we have 1 stakes race on Friday, and it's the 9th race. It's the 5th season stakes for 1 mile at 4-year-olds and up. It's an 8-horse field. The favorite comes from the David Jacobson barn, number 5, Durante, with Ramon Vasquez riding, and the top challengers look to be Capuna from the Brett Calhoun barn and Silver Prospector from the Steve Asmussen barn.
Well, that's good news because I'm going to the races next weekend, so that's even better news for me. So I didn't know.
I was thinking about going tomorrow, but now with 95% chance I saw rain, I think I might back it up to next Saturday, and I'll meet you over there.
Yeah, be good. So Southwest Stakes moved back a day. All right, you always give us a long shot pick, kind of a pick of the day on Friday. Got you a mutter picked out on a wet track?
What I have picked out is going in race 9, horse number 12, Homestead, at 8-1 for trainer Joe Sharp, jockey Manny Esquivel. There's obviously, when you're looking for a long shot, there's going to be some negatives. That's why it's a long shot. You know, people don't think it's going to run well. And this horse ran last in his last race at Oaklawn earlier in the meet. But the positives are the 3 races prior to that last place finish. His speed figures in all 3 of those races fit right in with this field today. He has a 5-race career where he has 1 win, 1 place, 1 show. I don't really know what happened in that last race. I'm just going to draw a line through it. He went off as the 9-5 favorite in that race and just ran terrible for whatever reason.
All right, so back at
he's 8-1 on the morning line today. I think that he is going to get near the lead early in the race, and if he gets the lead at the head of the stretch, I think it could be tough to run down because the top contender, horse number 5, Bourbon Bash, likes to run second. 19 starts in his career, only 1 win, 7 seconds. He might not run down our long shot of the day, Homestead, in race 9.
All right, what was the number on Homestead in the 9th?
Number 12.
Number 12 in the 9th today. Maybe your best long shot bet to make a little money. All right, at the Railbird 333, you can find that on X, Facebook, and other social media platforms. Get Lang's picks on each and every race, and he's got not only the Oaklawn picks, but other tracks as well. Lang, enjoy the weekend. Glad to be back racing, and maybe I'll see you next Saturday at Oaklawn.
Yeah, we'll get that lined out next Friday.
All right, sounds good. Brought to you by Brothers Roofing and Restoration this morning. If you've experienced possible storm or hail damage to your roof, and we've even had some January hailstorms in our state, it's time to call Brothers Roofing and Restoration. 479-353-3877 is their number. Brother Alexander, he's a former Razorback. He's an Arkansan, and he understands both sides of the process. You know, you got to deal with the insurance company. You got to deal with the adjuster. You got to make sure the adjuster's, seeing all the damage. Who does the adjuster work for? The insurance company, correct. Who does brother work for? He works for you, the homeowner. So you need someone representing you because the adjuster isn't looking out for your best interest. And that's where brother comes in because he understands both sides of the process. 479-353-3877 is her number. Whether you're in Hot Springs, Fort Smith, Northwest Arkansas, Brother Alexander is nearby. Brothers Roofing and Restoration, 479-353-3877. Get your next roof from Brothers Roofing and Restoration.
So, again, entertaining weekend for Oaklawn and then college game day in town for Arkansas basketball conference championship weekend. So there's plenty of things going on here in the great natural state when it comes to Razorbacks being involved in conference championship and then also the premier or one of the premier games at least expected to be. And I hope, again, we heard from Sean Smith earlier in the hour that he expects it to be a tight game. I know you were poking fun at me this week that I'd find a way to win. I just can't. I can find ways this game will be close tomorrow, but I can't find reasons to give me belief that they are going to ultimately win this game.
Well, and sometimes the craziest things happen. When there is no hope, when there is no reason, it appears. Now, we need to learn more today when Musk talks. What'd you say, is 11:30?
11:30.
We need to know about Tremont Mark. Is he going to play? How's Brazil's knee? I mean, those are two of the biggest key factors. We hadn't touched a lot on that, but if Mark and Brazil don't give you 25, 30 minutes, I mean, it's going to be tough. And when's Mark been on the practice floor last? I mean, apparently he's missed all week. I don't think you can even stay in the game without those two guys going.
No, it's going to be a tall task either way, but if you don't have Mark and Brazil tomorrow.
I mean, Kentucky scores a lot of points already, and that's those averages, was it 89 or whatever? I was looking at the numbers earlier. They're averaging like 89 points, yeah. And that's against teams that play much better defense than Arkansas. So, how can you try to eke out an 85-83 win or something? That's what it's going to take. I mean, Arkansas can score some points, generally not 85, but it's going to take that kind of effort because I don't know if you can play enough defense. That's where this team's got to challenge themselves. I would say Musk needs to challenge them. He's already been challenging them to play defense. He's been begging them to play defense. Will they answer the call? I don't know. They can slow Kentucky down to something like in the low 80s. Maybe there's a chance, but that's a big ask.
Yep. Hog Reaction following the game with myself, Zach Arns, and Matt Jones. Give your thoughts, hopefully some happy thoughts, or I'll just be angry and ticked off following the game again. That will be on all of our ESPN and Arkansas radio stations as well as hitthatline.com. Appreciate everyone joining us here this morning on a Fast Break Friday, and got a halftime and Ruskin and Zach to react to what Musk is going to say a little later on today.
I'm looking forward to Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, AFC, NFC championship games. That's going to be fun. So, fun sports weekend. Let's just get it cranked up with the Hogs beating Kentucky.
Yep, start it strong, fellas. Give us something to believe in, because if you start 1-6 in conference play, it's all she wrote. 2-5 sounds a lot better than 1-6. I'll tell you that, especially with the win over a, top 10 Kentucky squad. I still think they're in the AP top 10. All right, that's going to do it for us.
They'll be dropping out.
Yeah, that's going to do it for us this morning. Here again on a Fast Break Friday for Chuck Barrett, for Tommy Kraft, for Will Whitson, for Sean Smith. I'm Ty Richardson. Enjoy your weekend. Conference championship weekend. Hopefully the rain stays away and we get a little chance to go outside with a little warmer weather coming to the natural state. Back again on Monday at 6 a.m.
Join ESPN Arkansas in the Morning Rush in supporting Arkansas Children's Northwest all month long. We will be raising money to help Arkansas Children's Northwest fulfill its promise of making children better today and healthier tomorrow.